What is up, everyone? Welcome once again to another edition of AoS Trash Pandas. With me, as usual, is my co-host, the Dancing Carl. How's it going, Dancing Carl?
Going great. Dancing as always. It's what I'm known for. How are you?
Exactly. I'm doing good. Pretty good. Busy. Stuff's going on. I had a really great, we will get into it in a minute, but I had I've been doing like a slow grow with my son over the summer, and he's been playing Soulblight Gravelords, and I've been playing Seraphon, but then we got these, huge rules, things that went through, but were trying to be contained, but then they weren't. And so,
huge leaks.
Yeah.
There's a huge leakage, which normally you should call a plumber or your doctor to check that out.
That's true.
In this case, it's a pretty, well, I don't want to say it's positive, probably not for GW, but for the community, it's nice when we get a little bit of a preview on the rules and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like as in all of the rules.
Yeah, just a little preview of literally everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but the reactions to said rules have been quite varied. But yeah, anyway. But to go into thanks for everyone for joining us, by the way. Dan, Scotty, Ladivicus. We're happy to have you guys and everyone else, on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I almost said afternoon. But first, there is a rumor engine. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I did. It's a very chubby bug with some mandibles, some butt mandibles. It looks like it's pretty big based on like how non-chunky the highlights are.
Yeah,
I think. So this could be a lot of things. I saw some people saying that it could be like Necromunda.
Yep, that's true.
But I think I'm still holding out hope for Kurnothi.
I think it's Sylvaneth, like either Kurnothi adjacent or like full on, Sylvaneth. Because like, if you look at the bugs that come on Sylvaneth, a lot of them are kind of like this. They tend to have butt mandibles, I've noticed. So yeah, like that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know, we keep getting Kurnothi-esque things,
What if it's like the worst version of like the counterpart to Daughters of Cain snake ladies, and they're just like bug beetle ladies?
Beetle ladies?
Yeah.
Wouldn't
this is what you guys like, right? You really like Daughters of Cain. Yeah. What's the difference between a snake and a larva?
In a grub. Yeah. Yeah, so much. But I'm actually, Gloomspite is another thing, but I really don't think it's going to be Gloomspite because we just like they've already gotten like this huge release, so it would be kind of, there's always the possibility of like a what's it called, Underworlds, one of those like side things, Warcry or whatever. But yeah, no, I actually do think it's Sylvaneth, but it could be Necromunda as well. Slug ladies. Oh man, you picked the worst thing out of all of those. Centipede, ladies of the centipede, and it's not even like the bugs. It's like the horror movie where everyone has their mouths sewn to other people's tushies. I went with Tushy because we're not quite 5 minutes in. Unfortunately, like Ladificus says, 0 chance it's probably Gloomspite. But I don't know. Like I just kind of like bugs, and I like when they do something interesting and fun. I don't think it's going to be silent people, the silent peoples, because we have gotten a bunch of other rumor engines that are sort of indicated Kurnothi and or Sylvaneth. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And we just got another warband too. Like back when we got the first Kurnothi warband, it was like, oh shoot, like maybe they're coming soon. And then it never happened. Oh, what do we think this is? Sylvaneth range expansion. I like how you like played it safe, to capture the most thing is possible.
Could be
Necromunda, Gloomspite gets new Bug Lady faction. Sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think it's that one, personally.
I want to vote for that one right now. Just because of the addendum that's on there. Yeah. Yeah, it's new Bug Lady faction, and then asterisk. Sexy. Yeah, I kind of hope it's that now. I mean, like,
that's just the name on the battle tome too, just like new Bug Lady faction.
Yeah, colon
sexy.
Yeah, and I hope they're even more naked than Daughters of Cain are, you know?
Yeah.
But they're like
Just
gross.
covering up the slightest.
Yeah.
Just nothing to the imagination.
Yeah.
God, you wish they left some more to the imagination.
Exactly. And they're like all proportioned weird. You know what I mean? So that no one could possibly like that.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
all...
are they a chaos faction?
No, they're order. Somehow.
I kind of like that they worship the god of you know what I mean? Of indecent exposure or something like that. Just like unattractive people. Yeah, who are just like really into just showing too much of their body. You know what I mean? Like if you go to like most nude beaches, from what I understand, it's like no attractive person goes to a nude beach. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's mostly people that are like hippies and like, you know, way past their prime that go there. And, you know, they just go there to feel something. It's kind of like the new Bug Lady faction, right?
The faction is just like the embodiment of that old guy at the gym who does not wear a towel and like puts his leg up on the bench just to like wipe down his shins, but otherwise he's like 80.
Yeah. And he's like not even capable of getting his sweat on. And then it just takes him like 20 seconds to just lift his leg up onto the bench. Yeah. And then he drops it down. Yeah. And then he's just like, anyway, that's not coming back down again, you know?
No.
Yeah. Like whatever that chaos god is, that's what I want them to worship.
Yeah.
The chaos god of old man in the locker room. Just
what do you get out of worshiping this chaos god? Nobody knows.
No one knows. Yeah.
Confidence, maybe?
Yeah, confidence to be slightly racist in public.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
You're just like, okay. Anyway. I'm glad we were able to stay really on topic this evening, as usual. I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Dawn of War 4 got announced today. I know it was kind of a seminal game for you, Carson, and you are a developer too. What did you think about this?
It's interesting. So there's a couple things that are interesting. Like I know that there's the whole meme of like, oh, why did they skip to Dawn of War 4? Dawn of War 3 wasn't received well, etc. Blah 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 blah.
There's an understanding.
I worked with a lot of people that worked on a lot of the Dawn of War games, like 1 and 2 and stuff like that. And I think one thing to keep in mind is that like Dawn of War 4 is going to be a completely different game by a completely different company. It's not made by Relic. It's made by, what's the company? I literally just
just talked about it. Yeah, right before the stream started. By the way, I couldn't read the chat because of stupid whatever the Streamlabs. So I didn't get to see, and so I went onto the actual site, and then I just saw Bryce's comment, God of Butt Pinchers. That might be my new Chaos God, you know?
Yep, I could see that.
Move aside, Horned Rat. God of Butt Pinchers? Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy choice. But yeah, the developer is King Art, which is, if you're not familiar with them, they made the Iron Harvest game, which is kind of like a diesel punk mech aesthetic RTS with like lots of world destruction and stuff like that. It was actually done quite well. Like they executed the vision really well. They had like a Kickstarter and all that, and then it's being published by the people that made Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's not weird. Like it makes sense. What's weird is actually that it seems like a good publisher choice and good developer choice instead of it just being like, well, these guys did it last time, or it's Focus Home Interactive, which is like the Warhammer company essentially for video games. So I'm cautiously optimistic. It seems neat, and like the gameplay seems cool too. So
it does.
Yeah.
So didn't they go to a new company with Space Marine 2?
Yeah. Space Marine 1 was developed by Relic.
Right. And then
who made all the Dawn of War games, and then Relic kind of did other things for a while. THQ was the actual like holder of the IP, I believe. Okay. And they sold it to Focus Home Interactive, who I think made it in-house.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it seems like it. And like they knocked it out of the park, obviously. Like it made the old one like most people that like played Space Marine 1, you know, kind of knew about Warhammer. And then it got some people into it, obviously. A lot of people into it. But like, man, Space Marine 2 blew up like crazy. So it seems like, yeah, I don't know. It seems like they've really kind of started to figure it out. Yeah, I think cautiously optimistic is the best sort of way to think about it.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind about Warhammer IP licensing is that it's usually not, actually, it's basically never GW going and tracking down companies and being like, we think you'd make a good game that's like this. It's company has an IP or they has an idea or have an idea, and they approach GW and basically say like, hey, this is our pitch. Can we make this game? And most of the time they say yes. Like even if it's not really great.
Huh. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's sad. I didn't know that. But like, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Yeah, I think even despite that, like the graphics look cool. You know, the gameplay looks kind of cool so far. You know, we haven't seen much. The only thing I'm a little disappointed in is that once again, it's not Tyranids. Like, I don't know. I just think that Tyranids are the most inherently interesting kind of enemy that they have it in the Warhammer 40k universe. And so it looks like it's going to be Necrons and Orcs, so like the bad guy factions, and then the good guy factions or whatever. I know there's no good guys in 40k or whatever, but then you got Space Marines. It looks like Mechanicus, Admech. So I don't know. I kind of wish that there was like, you know, I wish there was Tyranids, but I'm assuming there'll probably be like DLC or something like that. So
yeah. I mean, there's Tyranids in Dawn of War 2, and the Tyranids in the main focus is Space Marine 2. Like,
I want more, Carson.
Fair. All right.
Never enough. But like, oh, and then we actually did get, speaking of 40K, as made by Quentin Tarantino, there is a new, what's his name? I always forget his name. The Catan. Why isn't this like on their main page? Yeah. I can't even like find it here. How is this possible? The website is so bad. Like it's like systematically designed so you can't find. Like this is a huge deal. Like this is an ancient frickin' model. Anyway, I think this looks amazing, and I'm not even into Necrons. Like you were into Necrons, but like, holy smokes, the new one is really cool. Some people are talking about the feet. To be honest, I didn't even notice the feet until literally it was you who pointed it out in our Discord. But yeah, really cool. So, congrats to all of them. All those Necron fans out there.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino's going to be buying that Nightbringer model and just pouring tequila down the top of it and just sucking it off the toes of that night. My God.
Oh my. Wow. One of those streams. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So you need a Warhammer tramp stamp. What should you get? How about property of Sigmar? You are Sigmar Scotty. You know?
I'm trying to think of. Yeah, like it's property or Sigmar or Gotrek was here or something like that. Like,
yeah, I like that.
there's a lot of ways you could do it. Yeah.
Or you could like put like what's Galmaraz, like, you know, like rest it here, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
You
Or with
know.
an arrow pointing down, it says Maw Pit this way.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Ma Pit. I like it. Yeah, or like a sign, like a warning sign for a well, you know, like be careful, you know, Ma Pit below, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Get the Aquila, then spend your life saying you're not. Oh dear. Okay. Once again, sorry, I'm reading out comments. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So, you know, I'm happy for all the people who are excited for it, and yeah. So, should we talk about some rules that may or may not have leaked like a sieve?
Sure.
Where do we want to start?
Which one do you feel like you're more familiar with?
I'm definitely more familiar with the FEC because I did play a game over.
We can look at those then.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So are we gonna like? Because I think there's already been streams, I'm assuming, of stuff that's come out. So
again, this is like full disclaimer. We're going to be talking about this stuff, and we'll like mention rules and maybe even read them out. We're not going to show them on screen just because GW is not giving us permission to do so.
Exactly.
But since it's basically public knowledge at this point, I don't see a problem with discussing it.
Right.
Yeah. Sigmar Scotty says, "Great suggestion, guys. Thanks. No worries. Yeah, we always get your back."
Let us know, by the way, if you do get any of that stuff. Like that would be. We'll have to like show it on stream if you get anything.
Yeah.
Provided
you show the
we can.
small of your back on screen.
Yeah, exactly. If you're okay with that. Whoops. Why didn't this? Dope. No. I wanted to like put up some cool art while we're talking about these rules. These hot rules leaks.
Hot off the presses.
So, yeah, like where should we start?
I think just like an overview of like what's changed battle traits wise is kind of interesting. Like so the things that stayed the same are, well, I mean, I guess even the recursion changed.
Yeah, recursion's like almost arguably the most different in that you don't need to do stupid NDP points anymore.
Yeah. So
new
huge. Democratic Party just gone.
It's just gone.
Yeah. Not an official party anymore.
It's gone.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you don't have to keep track of NDP or what does it even stand for? Noble Deeds points. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've been calling it NDP for so long. Noble Deeds points are gone. Now Muster Guard is basically you can pick any number of friendly nobles to be the targets, and nobles is basically like your heroes essentially, or
it's
like
only your courtier.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Your courtier. Okay.
So if you're an aberrant, you don't have the noble, so you cannot refill from them. And so it's kind of an interesting sort of choice that they're forcing you to make. And it's always been like, you know, the recursion part has always been tied to the courtier. And the Vargulf isn't a courtier anymore, by the way. He's a beast. So that's kind of interesting. And then the aberrants have always been the ones where you can bring back half a unit. And before you needed 6 NDP to do that. And how much recursion you could get was tied to how much NDP you had. And now it's just you get 1 knight or 3 serfs for your recursion. It's a lot like Soulblight. It's kind of like what we were saying last week or what at least I remember I was saying specifically, I love the way they do Soul Blight. I hope that that's kind of what they do. And they do, it is the same, only it is tied to the keywords. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, basically your courtiers are going to be the ones where you pick any number of courtiers that you have, and then for each target, you can return either 3 models to a friendly serfs unit wholly within 12 of it, or 1 model to a knights unit wholly within 12 of it.
Yeah.
And then an important distinction is going to be that you can't pick the same unit twice.
Yeah.
Which means it used to be that you had like 1 more bag knight left, and then you could just like up it back to 6, and then that's it. There's nothing stopping you from doing this and rallying.
Yep.
So I mean, it's still a pretty good source of recursion.
On average, you're not getting it with the rally though, right? Or I guess it depends. If you have a musician, then you're getting 1 more dice, so you might. Yeah.
It's like a 45% chance if you're rolling 7 dice to get 4.
Right.
So yeah, so that part of the recursion is like significantly dampened, which is kind of interesting. Also, thank you, Jason. Ooh, sniped Logan.
What? Thank you so much, Jason. How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you. Loud entrance.
Yeah, very good that one though. Yeah, I mean it is dampened down, but it's also not like as annoying. Like I think it's still like a quality of life improvement for FEC, in that you don't have to like, because like the thing was before is like until they reintroduced the heroic action from AoS 3 at the end of AoS 3, you were still just like you were having to put your heroes in danger, and then they just die and you don't get to do it anyway. So you're just kind of like, okay, well, you know, and I mean, even with that too, it was like you're rolling for each unit within a very small bubble, wholly within, and then it was 5-ups. So you know what I mean? Like it wasn't that easy to get either. And then it was tied to like spell casting, and you didn't really have any bonuses and like all this other stuff. And yeah, it just didn't really feel great the way it was working before. And it was the exact same as AoS 3. And I know they came in there at the end, but it was like the worst part of like all of their mechanics was that. And that was like the one thing that they kept, which is kind of why it felt bad to play them in AoS 4 for me. So I'm actually super glad and thankful for the changes, I think. Yeah, I don't really... I mean, like, obviously the Soul Blight one is better, I would say. You know what I mean? Because like you're doing multiple units off of one hero, whereas you're doing up to like 1 unit, and it can only be different units from in FEC. So obviously significantly dampened down. But like, I don't know, I feel like that's sort of like a balance issue that's not super important. Like what I prefer to see is like creative and interesting rules, and and like not annoying ones to play like the old ones were. So yeah, I think this is just kind of a straight upgrade in terms of fun.
Yeah, and then another change as well is summon loyal subjects is no longer obviously spend 6 NDP, because NDP don't exist. It's just in your movement phase, spend a CP, get half a unit back wholly within 6 inches of battlefield edge, and more than 9 from enemy units.
And you have to pick an aberrant.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So it is tied to like having the hero alive.
Yep.
And
there's small things like you can't auto run with that hero then, or you can't. It's because you're using a command on them, right?
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Again, in Soul Blight, you just get to do it. You know, you need a hero or you need the Graves. But like they've got other things going, obviously. Like the main one being the new delusion system is really interesting. We talked about it last week, but we can talk about it briefly here, especially because now we know all of the delusions that are in the book. Basically, at the start of the game, you pick one of the delusions. There's two delusions that like you have access to all the time, and then each aberrant has their own delusion, and so then you then at the start of each turn, and it's not battle round, it's each turn, you roll a dice, and on a 1 or a 2 you have to keep the same delusion. A 3 or a 4 you have to change it, and on a 5 or 6 you can... Oh, is it the opposite? Right. So 1 or a 2 you have to... Wait, 1 or 2 you have to
One or
change
two,
it.
you must pick a different one.
Oh, okay, right. And then 3 or 4 you have to keep it the same one, and then a 5 or a 6 you can do whatever you want. You can pick one from the start. The only main difference between the only like time that you might not want a 5 or a 6 is if the hero died was creating that delusion. But I don't know. It's very thematic and fun, and I don't know. They're just kind of cool, you know.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, it introduces like a really interesting aspect. I think I kind of brought it up last week where I don't know, it feels like you're collecting like cards of like different heroes. It's like, oh, I've got my special, like it gives each hero like a unique different benefit that isn't just like here's a control score buff or like a chain activation or something like that. Like it's really unique and thematic. So I think, we probably won't do a star chart for this army yet, but
no,
they would get a 5 out of 5
for theme. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I think FEC is like the definition of a 5 out of 5 for theme.
Yeah, maybe. They got the delusions. Yeah. I think you might be right. I kind of want to process it a bit more, play a few more games with them, but I think that might be right. Yeah. I can't imagine a more thematic army. You know, Nurgle's pretty good too. You know what I mean? Like the spread of disease and that kind of fun stuff. Like there's a few things out there, but you might be right. It might literally be the best one ever. So that's really cool. Yeah. And then as we said last week or whatever from the rules preview, Usharan can adjust the number 1 up or 1 down. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, you feel like a kid in a candy shop with this book. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I felt like too. And because there's like so many different ways you can go with it. Like you can do, like, it feels like for the first time since FEC got their first book in AoS 2, it's like I could literally go, and there weren't that many what do you call it, like units back then. There was like you had access to I think every unit in the entire book with just the start collecting except for the Archregent. It was literally everyone in there. So but now there's so much more, and yet the options are that much more varied and interesting, you know? Like I feel like you could totally do Terrorgeist monster spam now. And it's not like a stupid choice like it has been for, you know what I mean? Like not pure like fun, let's have a good time kind of list. Like you could probably make it work. And I think it's probably like the least powerful part of the book. Like I think Knights are really, really strong. And I think Serfs are really strong. Especially the Crypt Guard is sort of what's going around. And like, honestly, I can see taking every single hero in the book. Like, I can't think of anyone that I think is just straight up dog do. Like even the Ghoul King on foot, which has been kind of struggling to have a place. Now he's like charging in and chain activating with a Serfs unit and giving +1 to wound. Like that's amazing on its own, you know? Yeah. So, and then let's see, is there any, and now, Feeding Frenzy is once per game, and it looks like it's like the old Iron Jaws, thing where it's like you pick one hero once per game, and then there's the Feeding Frenzy. I'm a little disappointed with that. I kind of wish it was more like pick an aberrant, you know what I mean? And then, and you could just do it like with Iron Jaws, but you know, it's understandable. Before it was like a bubble. So if you had 6 NDP, you're always had Feeding Frenzy on. So that's kind of an interesting change, but ultimately, you know, it's probably for the best. Like maybe they could, maybe it's harder to balance them when they have access to that kind of thing all the time. It's kind of like a more of a landslide thing, or maybe it turns out that like they need to adjust it back to like one hero per turn in your own turn can call an FEC WA and things pop off. But yeah,
yeah. I think previously, like the issue was that they found FEC didn't function super well when you didn't have access to getting like NDP super quickly. So they added that quasi heroic action essentially, where you get extra NDP every turn, and then it kind of just became like if you're not capped out at NDP, then it's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
Versus now, because that's just not like that economy doesn't exist anymore. It's like, okay, now you have all of these other buffs and you have the delusion system. So feeding frenzy being once per game is maybe not such a huge deal. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it to be once per game per hero, but it's certainly more thematic.
It is
to have it just be once.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Because it's like
it's the feeding frenzy instead of it just being like literally every turn because you're expected to be at 6 NDP.
Right.
As soon as it's that, then it kind of becomes like the expected result is that's the norm now.
That's
right?
true.
It's not a feeding frenzy anymore. It's just like that's you've gotten yourself up to the expected output. Whereas this is truly like it's.
I feel like even if they go to the one hero once per hero per game, even that is still, it's kind of like a WA where like a WA 2 is theoretically just something that happens once. You know what I mean? And I think that's how it was. Alex can probably tell me in AoS 2 and stuff like that. I think it was just like once per game you call a WA. But like either way, I don't know. I think the nice thing about this too is that it's like before it was like they really struggled to balance FEC. You know, it was like they were like one of the worst in the game, and then they changed the rules and they lowered a bunch of points like crazy, and then they were one of the best in the game, and then eventually they kind of settled down a little bit, but it seems like something they've kind of struggled a little bit in the past with. So yeah, I don't know. Like regardless, it does feel very thematic all around, and I don't know. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And then we've got some different battle formations too. The one that I ran in my game was the knightly echelon, and you just add one to rend characteristic of melee weapons used by knights that charged in the same turn, while they're wholly within 12 inches of any Flesh Eater Court's heroes. So you need the hero and you need the charge, but that's like a pretty, like that's a very reasonable bar, I think, for getting access to, something as powerful as an additional pip of rend. I was playing my son's Nighthaunt, so it literally didn't come into play, but I was just making a list like I would in a regular game. Actually, that's not true because the Nighthaunt Endless Spells don't have ethereal. So they just have like a regular save because they're an endless spell. So they don't have like, access to the formation rules. And then you got Lords of the Manor, Raise the Banners. Each time an ability returns at least one slain model to a friendly unit that is not in combat after that ability has been resolved. If that unit is a serfs unit, you can return one additional slain model to it. If it's a knight's unit, roll a dice, and on a 4-up, you can return one additional slain model. So
it basically makes it so that you're oh, that's interesting actually, because that applies to rally as well.
Right.
So I was thinking that it only applied to muster guard, where basically instead of getting 3 back, you'd get 4 back in a serfs unit, and then for a knight's unit on a 4-up, you'd get one additional model back.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means that's interesting, because like so let's say you have like 2 more big knights out of 6 in a unit, and then you rally them, and you successfully get the 45% chance, and you rally back 1, and then on a 4-up you get another 1 back, and then
you return them through the
you return them through not muster guard, the other one. What is it? Oh, it is muster guard.
Right.
through muster guard, and then you roll a 4 up again. So theoretically, you could go from 4 to 6 Moorbag Knights, but you'd have to be like supremely lucky to do so. It's like you make a 50-50, and then you make a 50-50, and then you
go
make
from
50-50.
two to 6, right?
2 to 6, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's
like a 12% chance of happening.
Yeah,
which is cool. It's
like
neat.
It's just kind of like, well, I needed to rally them. You know what I mean? Like I'm in this bad sort of situation a little bit here. So yeah, I don't know. I can see doing that. You know, I feel like though it might make your because you're probably not going to have a lot of courtier on the battlefield. Like you're probably going to have like 1 or maybe 2, depending on how like the layout of your army, because the army's pretty paper thin. So I don't know. Like I'm only like fitting like 1 usually. I mean, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong. But then there is also the aberrant archregent, and he still has his old ability to like kind of do what he was doing before. But like I'm not even seeing him in most lists. I'm seeing like other stuff. Like Usharan's still coming in pretty hot. And I'm seeing a lot of Abhorrent Ghoul Kings on zombie dragons and Terrorgeists. Mostly zombie dragons, actually, because of the run and charge. And then also Gore Warden, which is really cool because that new model absolutely freaking slaps. So I'm really glad that people are finding a use for him. It feels like finally to me. But yeah. But yeah, like every part of this army is looking pretty enticing. So yeah. But yeah. And then there's the Royal Hunt. Pick a friendly serfs unit. This is just like, you know, the old Saurus end of turn, do mortal wounds. Pretty boring, pretty lame. I'm kind of sad that
pick each friendly serfs unit. Is the key thing.
Yeah, I know, but
like Sunblood or whatever it is pick 3.
Right.
And with how cheap some of the stuff is in this book, I could see this being a potentially pretty backbreaking
for sure. Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like Plague Monk spam style.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just saying it's not creative. It's not like
correct. Yeah, it's not creative. Yeah. But I mean, I could see someone running like MSU Crypt Guard or something, just like charging all into into something, and then if there's like 5 or 6 units, there's nothing stopping you from rolling 5 D3s into whatever it is that you're swarming essentially, and then that can be kind of a problem.
And like if Crypt Guard go up in points, which might happen, obviously, then you can do it with what's it called, the Warcry Warband. Even just like MSU ghouls, like it's still just 20 wounds, so it's like a bunch of bodies anyway, and they're not hard to paint. Yeah. Anyway, and then there's Indulge My Pretties, which is one of the best names I've ever heard. While a friendly non-hero Flesh Eater Courts monster or beast is wholly within 12 inches of any friendly Flesh Eater Courts hero, that non-hero unit can use a Rampage ability on its War Scroll, even if that ability has already been used by another friendly monster in the same turn. If that non-hero unit charged in the same turn and the unmodified charge roll was a 9-up, it has Strike First for the rest of the turn. So there's a few different like kind of interesting things in there. This is sort of like the old, I mean, it is called Royal Menagerie, but like it's the same thing where it's sort of monster themed, but now they're adding beast to it, which is kind of cool. So it helps like the Vargulf, who's now a beast. Even though I'm sad that he's not a courtier anymore, I think it's just kind of interesting. You know, it gives him sort of a use. Infantry hunter. Yeah.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I'm liking it so far. Then the heroic traits.
Yeah.
Are we just going down like one by one essentially, or are we doing like highlights? I guess heroic traits and artifacts we can just do. That's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So you have Stronger and Madness, which is just ignore the first damage point that would be allocated to this unit each phase. Mm-hmm. In addition, other than the companion weapon abilities for combat attacks that target this unit have no effect. So this is really good. It's basically like the
it's basically Armor of Sithai.
except a little better because
Yep.
then you get like the Stonehorn skin essentially, or
Yep.
Old Manfred rule, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Um,
And I looked it up, and I believe we played this right, but because I was like going through the rules one by one, but I get to make my ward rolls before I'm allocating.
mhm.
So
Yep.
like if I save both of them, or if I just say like it literally happened where I had 2 wounds that went on me, and then I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to cheat my 13-year-old son, obviously, but I wanted to play it right, and he wanted to learn the right rules. So we looked it up, and then we figured out that was what it was. So then I rolled my ward save. It didn't matter anyway. I didn't roll any 6s. So then it just didn't matter in the end. But so I took one wound, but I was kind of going like, yeah, if I made one of those 6s, then I wouldn't have taken anything just now,
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And for those watching, the reason why is because allocation happens after damage, after infliction, basically.
Yeah.
So it goes like damage inflicted, ward save, allocated, and then this would proc.
Exactly.
Essentially.
And it's actually like pretty darn clear if you go through like it's kind of annoying that like the attack sequence doesn't include damage allocation, and it's like 3 or 4 pages later if you look at the rule book. You're just like, why is it all the way over here? We were just doing this right now, Anyway, so once we kind of track them down, yeah. So I don't know, this one seems really good. And then, but the other one, sorry, what's that?
Well, this one's really good if you have like any sort of centerpiece-ish hero. Like if you've just got like a foot hero, it's like,
yes,
okay,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You probably want one that's
like you probably wouldn't put this on like a Gore Warden or anything like that. But I had it on my Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist, and I know that the other one's probably better on the Zombie Dragon, but it's a Terrorgeist, okay? Like they gave it mortal wounds now proc on its skeletal claws, so I was just like, well, I've got to take it now, And it doesn't do 6 mortal wounds, but its damage characteristic of its jaw attacks is 3 plus D3 now. So like that's just so fun. Like it's so freaking fun. So I had no choice. Yeah,
gotta do it.
I had to do it. Yeah.
Then you've got Cruel Taskmaster, which is basically that this hero can pick another non-hero Flesh Eater Court unit, wholly within 12, and then that can reroll charges for the rest of the turn. I think based on the ordering of that, you wouldn't be able to like declare a charge for that unit, see that the charge roll was bad, and then decide to have a reroll after that. You'd have to decide beforehand. And then the last one is Savage Beyond Reason, which is add 1 to the attack's characteristic of this unit's melee weapons, including companion weapons that did not use a fight ability in the previous turn. Add 2 to the attack's characteristic of those weapons instead. Well, this unit does not use a fight ability this battle. So basically, the first time it fights, it's +2 attacks, and then if it doesn't fight the previous turn, it's only +1 attack.
This one's fun too.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah,
it says including companion, which is good too. So if you've got the
Terrorgeist,
for example,
yeah.
Looking on Terrorgeist, yeah.
So the first time it attacks, it's getting at least 5 attacks, unless you use its delusion, and then you're getting 6 attacks with its jaw. Like what? The hell? Like, can you imagine? Like, it's not like on that many attacks. Like, it's not an uncommon scenario where you're rolling, like a couple of 6s in there. So
yeah, it gets pretty spicy.
It does.
It's pretty spicy. Yeah, and then that's it for the heroic traits.
Yep.
For the artifacts of power, we've got the Splintered Femur, which is at the end of your turn. You pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. You roll a D3 on a 2-up, pick one of the following. Inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll, and then subtract 1 from the target's power level to a minimum of 0 until the start of your next turn. And if it was a manifestation, it is banished. So it's neat. Yep. Usually if you're in combat with a wizard with a hero of yours that also wants to be in combat, you just hope that wizard's dead.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it's end of your turn.
Oh, end of your turn.
End of your turn. So like you can't even like do this to like get rid of like a spell or whatever and then also do something else in that turn. So I think it's kind of poopy. I mean, it's clearly poopy compared to the other two. Like the prayers are so good, and so Charnel Vestments, which was which was in the last tome as well, just making them a priest is super good. And if they're already a priest, they get +1 to their chanting rolls. Like that's super good on its own. And then, but I was rocking the Grizzly Pennant here, which is if this unit charged this turn, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Roll a dice. If it's greater than the target's control characteristic or is a 6, so on a 6 you always get it, the following effects apply for the rest of the turn. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for the target's combat attacks. Add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly units that attack that enemy unit. So like they're -1 to hit, and everything that attacks them is +1 to hit. That's crazy. That's so good. Especially like -1 to hit is like super good right now, right? This whole edition, actually, I would say. And then you're +1 to hit, so you don't have to deal with like, I don't know, like, again, I think this goes much better on a combat monster. So like if you're not rocking Usharan and or you have like you know, like an ABK on a Terrorgeist or whatever, which I did. So yeah, I just took both of the things that went really well with my monster. But like if I'm not rocking, like if I'm just taking Ushi and like a Gore Warden or whatever, or like an Archregent, I'm probably making them a priest just because the you know, it's so strong. The prayer lore.
Yeah, but I mean, I like that they give you options. You know, if you want to have like that super slappy hero, like you have both the heroic trait and artifact of power to be able to do so. But if you just want to have like a support piece, then 100%, like you can be giving someone a reroll charge, or you can be a priest, like you said. Like there's utility and just straight up aggression.
There's like honestly, like 2 out of each of these is very strong. And like the third heroic trait is very takeable. You know, like on your Gore Warden, just like, yeah, well, you know, they're re-rolling their charge, you know? Like in my charge phase, I can just be picked for to have them re-roll it. I do wish that it was like both charge phases. It's like any charge phase. That way it would make it a little bit more enticing. You know what I mean? To, you know, but whatever. That's fine. I'm usually the guy who picks the fun stuff anyway, but like I was usually taking charnel vestments before anyway. So yeah, I can definitely see doing that. But
cool. Then we got new spell lore.
New-ish. Actually, some of it's new. Some of it's new.
Yeah, deranged transformation, basically the same thing. It's +2 to move, +1 to wound.
Is it exactly the same? Infantry or cavalry. So it is different because before it was like limited by your wound count.
It might have been third. I don't know if that was index.
Second and third.
Okay.
Was your wound? Oh yeah, you mean like sorry, the index. I'm not saying it was index. Like honestly, I got so annoyed by NDP that I was just like, I'm gonna put you in the shelf and I'm not even gonna look at you. And yeah, anyway, that's true.
Yeah. Charnel Feast. This one changed, I believe. Now it used to be like a weird thing where you roll a whole bunch of dice and then different things happen.
Yeah, they had to be the same.
It was kind of annoying.
Yeah. So dumb.
Whereas now it's just you pick a visible enemy unit within 18 and also pick a surface unit within 6 inches of the target. Then you inflict D3 mortal damage on the target for each damage point allocated to the target by this ability. You can return 1 slain model to the raised ranks. So this is making Lords of the Manor look like better and better because it just keeps being recursion based.
And the recursion is better in serfs in general, and it's not like it's not luck based like the knights are.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I like it. Hello, Pat the Rat.
Yo,
how's
Pat.
It going?
How's it going? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I hope so too. Seems like it is. The news is good.
Yep.
So.
Seems like it for sure. I'm not familiar with FEC manifestations and endless spells. What are they? We'll get to that in a second because they're also looking really good. And as Ludivicus said, the output of FEC dragons is up, which is so fun. They should always be like one of the hideous things in the game, in my opinion. But yeah, Miasma of Madness goes off on a 7, right? Pick an enemy unit, visible enemy unit within 18 inches, And until the start of your next turn, for each unmodified hit roll of 1, so what, like when they're attacking you, they basically take 1 mortal wound every time that they're. And so I threw this on like a unit of Grimgas Reapers or whatever. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? like because they're throwing out a lot of attacks, and so I don't know. This is fun too. Like I like the idea of delusion-based spells where they're hurting themselves. You know what I mean? And Ushi kept his really cool spell as well. Very thematic. But yeah. But the real juice is in the prayers here, hey? So the unlimited prayer is excommunication, which is hilarious. It goes off on a 4. Darn it, I keep moving this around in the wrong way. I should have downloaded it onto my computer. Pick a visible enemy unit to be the target. Make a chanting roll within 18 inches. Until the start of your next turn, ignore positive modifiers to save rolls for the target. In addition, if the chanting roll was a 10 up, ward rolls cannot be made for the target until the start of the next turn. That's incredible. Like, it's so much utility. Like, not every army is going to have a ward, like, anyway. Like, you could go up against IJ and, like, they have access to it in a certain faction, but they didn't take that faction. So, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's not really going to do anything. Well, -1, like, not being able to get positive modifiers. So you can't do all-out defense. You know what I mean? You can't do anything that would, like, just inherently make your save better. Only negative stuff. Only the bad stuff for you. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really... It's kind of priming FEC to be like a quintessential glass cannon army.
Right.
Where they will walk up and absolutely shred things and can't take a huge punch back. They'll have like a little bit of recursion, but everything's going to mostly be on like 5 and 6 up save, that type of thing. So
exactly. And that's what they should be. Like, that really is what they should be. But
yeah, and they definitely have like tools to mess with people. Yeah, like this is really good. There's tons of stuff, but yeah, we can keep going.
Sure. Charnel Conviction is the same. It basically just give a 5-up ward. They just get a 5-up ward. If the chanting roll is a 10-up, then you can pick another target. That wasn't in the 3rd edition one, but I think it was in the index, but I don't remember.
Yep.
But like, just a 5-up ward is incredible. You know what I mean? It makes them like hardy when they're not really, it's not really like what they need to be in order to succeed. And then the Summer King's Favor, this one's pretty spicy too. It goes off on a 5. Pick a visible, friendly Flesh Eater Court's hero, wholly within 12 inches. Then make a chanting roll. You cannot pick Nagash. Resolve the effect of Renowned Might below. If the chanting roll is a 10-up, resolve the effect of either Renowned Might or Righteous Tenacity. So on a 5, you can only do Renowned Might, and then on a 10, you can pick one or the other. Renowned Might is add 1 to the damage characteristic of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the turn. It's actually like insane on its own. And then like, honestly, I don't think I'm like mostly ever picking, it depends on like the target of the unit. Like if you're doing like high quality attacks, right? Fighting twice might be the way to go. But Righteous Tenacity is, you can just use 2 fight abilities. And then of course you're striking last, with the second one. I don't know, like, yeah. It's unless you need to pile in a second time.
I think it's highly dependent on like who you're putting it on.
Well, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
like with Ushiran, I think +1 damage is great. Even a fight twice with him is pretty good though. But,
that's what I'm saying. Like, but he's got higher quality of attacks. But like on a unit of serfs, like they're gonna die when in the hit back, so you might as well just get your damage in now.
It's only heroes that this applies to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It'd be horrifying if you could put this on serfs, because you can get
that's it.
Damage 3.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So like on a Vargulf, or he's not even a hero anymore; he's a beast.
Yeah, like for instance, we've been talking about the Ghoul King on Zombie Dragon, or Terrorgeist rather.
Right.
Most of the good attacks are going to be companion anyway.
Yep.
So it's like not a huge deal to be +1 damage. You probably would want fight twice in that instance.
Right. That's true.
Especially if they have like the what is it, Armor of Sithai-esque artifact, then they can survive a punchback kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's why like I think this is, it depends like what your, there might be some army loadouts that you would never ever chant this, and you'd just be going for a 5-up ward or ward shut off essentially.
Yeah.
But you never know. Yeah,
It's true. I mean, yeah, if you're giving your character like a 5-up ward or a unit with a 5-up ward, you know, it just makes them, you don't have to worry about them as much. You don't have to worry about your activation chain as much. Yeah, it's just pretty good. All the endless spells go off on a 6, so we can come back to them later. Or actually, Scotty, if you want, we can just talk about them now. That's a bit of a
we might as
highlight.
well, because then I think we can talk about like shutouts and stuff like that.
Actually, let's first talk about the Charnel Throne, because that's a huge change. The Charnel Throne is basically you have to have someone to occupy it for it to do literally anything, which is kind of rare. But the thing that you get is pretty good. It's if this terrain feature has a steward, pick a visible, friendly, non-hero Flesh Eater Courts unit to be the target. It can move D3 unless it was set up, and then you can move D6. And so with the way that like a lot of stuff like the Gore Warden works, and different zombie dragons and things like that, I could definitely see this being, you know, pretty good, because they kind of poop down onto the battlefield, or they kind of teleport. I think there's still means of teleporting through the Gore Warden, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I did not use him in the battle last time. But you know what I mean? Like, so then you poop them down outside of 9, and then if you're moving them D6, like you could theoretically get them just outside of 3. Yeah.
It brings your recursion into the game way quicker, because that was kind of the trade-off.
Right.
For the index, essentially, is like you could bring your recursion stuff down, but they'd be popping out outside of 9, and then your opponent could just like redeploy away, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Whereas now this is almost like nullifying a redeploy dice.
Right.
So
yeah.
And then you're just getting your actual 9-inch charge, or maybe your opponent doesn't do it. You end up, like you said, like as close as 3 inches away. So it's really good. And it just says visible. There's no range whatsoever, just board wide. And this thing is big, like, or not big, but it's tall enough that you can.
Yeah, you can probably see. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I kind of wish it was like the, what's it called? The Shouty Tower. Where you can, it was like, where it's like you roll a dice, you know what I mean? Or like, I mean, you don't really want it to be rolling a dice when it only gets one effect, but like, even if it was like, you know, if there's no Shouty Tower, then you can do it on a 3-up, but if there's someone in the Charnel Throne, then you can just do this, you know what I mean? Or something like that. But it's fine, you know. I'm often going to be taking Gourmain anyway, and he's kind of good just chilling out in his throne. So, yeah. But yeah, and then the endless spells are awesome. Like, and I think that seems to be like a bit of a theme, you know, that I'm noticing going forward, where it's like, the, you know, like the Soulblight Gravelord ones are pretty cool. The Orc War Clan ones are good, just straight up good. You know, the new IDK, what's it called? Incarnate is really good. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I want people to like want to choose, you know, their own manifestation lore, because I think that's cooler. You know, it's more unique and interesting.
All of them cast on a 6.
They do.
Then the barricade is going to be, I think it's set up within 18, right?
Yep.
And basically what the barricade does is that enemy units cannot use run or retreat abilities while they're within this manifestation's combat range. In addition, if an enemy unit is picked to use a move ability while it's within this manifestation's combat range, half the unit's move characteristic rounding up for the rest of the turn. So it is really rough, especially as a countercast.
The countercast, like, yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm thinking, like, particularly as ogres, this really messes me up.
Sure does. And it's not small. It's like pretty long. So you can affect like a bunch of different units with it.
Yeah, so it's something your opponent has to respect that you could always be capable of doing. And if your opponent doesn't have like good screening or like hasn't accommodated that whatsoever, then it's going to be. And even if they do, then the units that they're using to block it off might only be moving like 2 inches or 3 inches or something like that because it's having their move characteristic, and it still locks them up. So
it does, and like you could just tag it on the end of a unit. It's like, yeah, like I could pile in 3 inches and get like, 3 of my duders to hit it, and maybe take it out, but it's on a 10 up, 5 up, or sorry, it's I was looking at the wrong one. It has 10 wounds. Oh yeah, it's on a 5 up, 6 up. Okay, so it's all the same. So, you need a decent amount of attacks just to take it out, and then you still might not do it, and then they can't retreat. You know what I mean? And it's game over. Like it could literally just completely flip the game on its head. It's really cool. And like that's always been the cool one. And then in third edition FEC, the Chalice was super good, but then in the Index it was like just so boring and lame. But now it's like pretty good again. It goes off on a 6, same as the other thing. And then pick an enemy unit within 6 inches to be the target. 3 up, your opponent must pick one of these. And I always love it when they do this. You know what I mean? It's just like, you pick this, not me. And I don't know. It's more fun to me. Other than companion weapons, weapon abilities have no effect, right? So, like, that's huge. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you even just putting it on, like, someone's Terrorgeist. You're just like, you don't get mortal wounds now, idiot. Like, damn. Or combat attacks that target that enemy unit score critical hits on a 5 up instead of a 6 up. So for FEC, you're crit auto wounding, like, or getting crit mortals or whatever on a 5 instead of a 6. So that's pretty, that's pretty cool.
yeah, there's something tricky here. I'm not sure exactly what the answer is, but like one of the first places that people's mind will go is crit mortal. But because a lot of the like zombie dragons have companion keywords, I don't know that this would apply to that, because it says combat attacks that target that enemy unit score critical hits on modified rolls of 5+, because companion keyword basically means that you can't be affected by friendly abilities.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So it might only apply to serfs. Wow, I just didn't go anywhere. Yeah. That was crazy. I just like looked down slightly. I just teleported out of the screen. Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate. I don't think it's intentional, but as it sits right now, I think that's how it's probably. That's probably so. Like you probably always pick that then, unless you're going up against a bunch of serfs.
Yeah. Again, it depends. It always depends.
Yeah.
It's neat. It has its purposes, I think. Alex Butler says, imagine getting no weapon abilities on an Eidolon. What do you mean? Are you behind? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Corpse Mare Stampede is the one predatory manifestation. Yep. It is 12-inch move, 10 wounds on a 5 up. Its attack profile is not particularly anything to write home about. Yep. But it has the in your charge phase trampled underfoot, which is declared this manifestation can use this ability even if it is in combat. Pick a point on the battlefield edge to be the target, and then make a stampede roll of 2d6. Add 1d6 to the roll for each battle round that this manifestation has been on the battlefield and has not been banished. For example, the stampede roll would be 2d6 in the turn in which it was summoned, 3d6 in your next turn, and so on.
Yeah.
Effect: this manifestation can move a distance up to the value of the stampede roll in a straight line directly towards the target. It can move through the combat ranges of enemy units. It cannot end that move in combat unless it ends that move within half an inch of a visible enemy unit. And if it does so, this manifestation is charged. Roll a d3 for each enemy unit that this manifestation passed across during that move on a 2+. Inflict an amount of mortal damage across or on that enemy unit equal to the roll. In addition, this is a lot.
Yeah.
If this manifestation charged this turn, add the value of the stampede roll to the attack's characteristic of this manifestation's corpse mare trample for the rest of the turn. Whew. Okay.
So
So
you're getting a
basically,
lot of attacks though if you get that off.
yes. Yeah, you
Like
are.
like even
Like,
even in like the first round, like it's plus 2d6 attacks.
yeah, so essentially you're, yeah, 6 plus 2d6 attacks, which is like, and it's crit 2 hits.
13 on average
Yeah, but it's
attacks.
5s and 3s. So it's like,
Exactly. But it's like it's a horse attack, so like that's what it's sort of supposed to be.
yeah.
Only with crit auto wound, right?
Yeah.
And then if it sits out for any length of time and it's got 10 wounds on a 5-up save, like, you know, if you don't commit to killing this thing off or getting it gone, then it can charge up and it can be like an actual threat, which is kind of weird, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's fun as hell.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think people are probably going to be trying for the barricade as much as they possibly can, but I wouldn't
For
be
sure.
surprised if they casted this. The only thing is that, like, how many casts are you going to have in an FEC list, right? Like, not that many.
A lot of the aberrants are casters, you know?
Okay.
And like Anusharan's a double caster. So
Yeah.
like once you have the barricade out, then I definitely think, I mean, even you just like because the barricade's like it's like a tool that you're using in certain situations, whereas this is like I want to cast it out early game, and then if it's just running around and it's getting charged up with it's battle round, by the way, it's not turn, even though it says turn in the example later on, it is battle round, but like. Okay, like later on in the game, if my opponent doesn't do something about this stupid spell that I like countercast in their turn, battle round 1, you know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? This thing's gonna run around and do crazy stuff. Yeah. It's super fun.
I like the idea that your opponent casts it and doesn't send it in right away, and they just like move it to the corner of the table, and the thing just starts like gassing itself up. It's like
exactly,
let's go. Come on,
exactly. That's what I mean.
On like 5d6.
Yeah.
From, like, yeah.
And then it gets like you roll decently well with like you know, 5d6, and then you're getting just like a stupid amount of attacks, and it actually does like a crap ton of damage and kills Croak or just something stupid. I don't know. It's really fun. By the way, Walter said crit 5s can affect companions. So what he's talking about, like I first was thinking that Carson was going to say what you thought he said, was that because it says it doesn't affect like the actual like lore bit thing or whatever the explanation says about companion weapons, but he's just like saying that like you can never affect with any ability companion weapons attacks profiles in a positive manner, like on friendly units, unless it specifically says so. So like you could get, like you can theoretically get that, but this doesn't specifically say in the prayer ability that it affects companion abilities, so it's not going to affect them, right? I explained that terribly, by the way.
No, I know what you mean, but I know what Walter's talking about as well. Because, so verbatim, what companion is unless otherwise specified, attacks made by this weapon are not affected by friendly abilities that modify hit rolls, wound rolls, or weapon characteristics, except those that apply negative modifiers.
Right.
For example, covering fire. So, because it's not affecting the hit roll itself. It's just saying that
that's
changing,
true.
It's just changing the definition of a crit.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
I think you might be right.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think
that's a really good call out. Thank you, Walter. I was just trying to explain.
Yeah. I think that's right. Because it specifically calls out, hit rolls, wound rolls, and then characteristics. And it's not affecting any of those things. It's just changing the definition of a crit. Which, okay. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
Well pointed out, Walter. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. I like it. Yeah, and that was like a minute, more like kind of language sort of thing that, very good call out. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And is there any I mean, I think, if we're going to go into Nighthaunt as well,
I
your
think
Chad Merle with the sorry, I'm reading the chat like it's totally out of context. Who is your Chad Merle? Oh, I see, right, because he's playing KO. Yeah, got it. I was on FEC still because like there's a few different ways you can turn off wards in FEC.
yeah. Yeah, I think talking about like just some very quick highlights for units, maybe FEC. Like we don't have to go and read every war scroll or anything like that. But
Well,
I think
especially
that
because some stuff is kind of similar still, like Crypt Ghouls, like Usharan,
Yep. Gourmain is going to be a big shout out. I think a lot of people are going to be bringing him
for his delusion.
He's for his delusion, and also he doesn't have, because he used to have like a make things run and charge and do that other sort of stuff. Like his war scroll has changed significantly, I believe.
It has.
So now he has
good though.
It was always good. Yeah, absolutely. Now he's got a your charge phase ability, which is pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches to be the target. Roll a dice on the 3-up until the start of your next turn. The target has strike last while it's in combat with any friendly Flesh Eater Courts heroes and any friendly serfs or knight units. So if you have a hero and serf or knight unit, then
right.
First of all, brush up on your Boolean algebra because you got to make sure that you're evaluating that correctly. Second of all, this is fun. Like it's just a free ability essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main reason why people are going to be bringing him is just because accusations of regicide. While you believe this delusion, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly serfs and knights units while they're wholly within 12 inches of enemy friendly Flesh Eater Courts heroes that had any damage points allocated to them in the same turn. The key thing here, and a lot of people have found a million different ways to proc this, is that if you inflict damage on yourself somehow, this still applies. So if you have a unit of like, I brought up ghouls last week, but now it's come to bear that like Crypt Guard are like quite cheap, and they've got like a really solid war scroll too, so we can talk about them real quick. You're gonna have damage 2 on those units very easily. And just to name like 3 examples of how you might proc damage on yourself, number 1 would be you roll a 1 on a place of power. Number 2 would be you bring a Stumblefoot Gargant and vomit all over yourself.
Right.
Number 3 would be if you have the Forbidden Power manifestation lore, if you have locked on the Soul Seeker and he picks up a friendly hero and drops them off somewhere, it allocates 1 damage to them.
Right.
Which means now everyone's angry, which is funny that your hero decides to take a ride in a boat and then it's just like, how dare you get him serfs? Like it's just, do
you think you would take Lao Shang in this army for this like ability? Because like this manifestation lore is pretty good.
It is really good. You have to think about though, Bridge actually works really well with this army, with what we saw with the Charnel Throne. Soul Scream Bridge, you teleport someone out, then they get to move D6.
Right.
That means that that works really well with the army.
Right.
Horror Guest is fine. Like it's just another shooting unit. Maybe if you have shooting units, it'll affect commands and stuff like that. Lash on the Soul Seeker does exactly what it makes this combo work. Right. And then Shards of Valagar is just a nice like deep strike, counter deep strike thing. So it's a solid toolkit.
And Hannah, number 4, retreat.
True. Yeah, retreat. You're already in combat, just leave.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
And then you pick this delusion when you know you can proc that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's not guaranteed because as we said, every single turn you have to pick a different delusion, and if you're not bringing Usharan, then like you have a 1/3 chance to not do the thing that you want. Usually, like if you already have it picked, then you have a 1/3 chance that you have to change it, and if you don't have it,
kind of wait for your go turn. You know what I mean? It's the only issue is it's like okay, like for me, it's like okay, I'm not going to rely on silly stuff like rolling a 1 on a place of power or trying to roll double 1s. You know what I mean? Like, any more than I tried to rely on summoning a free Vermin Lord with my thing or whatever. So like those things are kind of rare. And not something you want to rely on. I think the retreat thing is actually like a really good angle, Hannah. And then like you said, Lao Shang.
Lao Shang. Yeah. There's a there's a bunch of different ways that you could proc it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why Gourmain is like a special mention. It's like he's something that you could see in a lot of lists that people just really want to juice up serfs.
Yep.
Then it can get pretty terrifying. I think it's important that we mention Crypt Guard just because they're rumored to be so cheap, and their War Scroll changed as well. Were they always on a 6-up save, or were they on a 4-up save before?
They were on a 5-up save, I believe.
5-up, so I'm just wrong no matter what I say. Okay, sounds good.
I mean, I don't know in 4th, by the way. I think I'm almost positive they were at least one better save than the regular dudes, right?
Yeah.
But
Crypt Guard, though, basically they kept their non-monster Flesh Eater Quartz heroes. Oh no, it's non-monster now, so it doesn't apply to like Usharan or anything like that. But basically, they give and get a 5-up award if they're near a non-monster Flesh Eater Court hero. Their new ability that they got, however, previously it was that if they had applied any damage to someone, they would like shut off their commands, which was already really good. But now it's any combat phase. If this unit is in combat with any enemy units that charge this turn, roll a dice, and on a 3-up for the rest of the turn, this unit has strike first, but ward rolls cannot be made for it. So basically, you turn into like Mega Glass Cannon, but you get to hit first.
And they also have +1 rend when other people charge, I believe.
Exactly.
By the way, they are a 6-up save right now in the index, at least. Third edition, they were a 5-up. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, thank you, Hannah.
Gotcha. So basically, they're like, now if you're charging into them, they have 3 attacks each, hitting on 4s and 4s with crit auto wound, Ren 1/1 damage. However, you charge into them, now they're Ren 2/1 damage. Yeah. If Gourmain is angry, now they're Ren 2/2 damage. If they have deranged transformation, now they're 4s and 3s, and if you all attack them, they're 3s and 3s. Like there's a whole bunch of ways that you could really juice these guys up. And it's rumored that 10 of these guys is 100 points.
Right.
So 10 points per model is really super, super cheap.
It's
and you run a block of 20 of them.
Super, super deadly, potentially. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just so cheap. Like it's good God. Yeah, Fonzie's saying in the chat they're not going to be 100 for long. Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I understand that. Yeah.
I mean, like, and I don't even really care about them. Like, they're not, you know what I mean? Like, 6-up, like, if shooting comes back at all, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is I wouldn't go out and buy a bunch of Crypt Guard regardless. Yeah. Even if they stay the same, like, well,
I don't think you ever should. Like, as soon as this happens a lot where GW will release a book and a unit's just like highly, extremely efficient. Yeah. It's very rare that it stays that way. Like usually it kind of like inches closer to being not that way anymore.
Well, and like the thing is too is the only thing that's changed is access to +1 damage. They've had access to +1 to wound and obviously +1 attack. And they've always had 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, right? Now they're an extra pip of rend if you charge them. But like they actually haven't changed that much, but just +1 to damage is insane on a lot of attacks. Like Storm Vermin, no one's taking Storm Vermin, but if they get access to +1 damage, guess what? Storm Vermin are very good now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like what's funny is like they haven't changed that much, but then they kind of kept going down in points because no one's taking them and no one's finding a use for them as much. And now suddenly, but like 20 wounds on a 6-up, and then if they, like they will die to a fart. So I actually don't think they're going to go up that much, but maybe they do, the +1 damage is scary. The +1 damage is really scary.
I wouldn't be surprised if what happens is actually maybe not. Cause like there's another buff in Fire Slayers where like, if they're near, the Hearthguard Berserkers. Yeah. With broad axes, if they're near a like damage friendly hero, then they get angry as well. Or like even in the new Scourge of Gairan thing, like I think if the new Rune Sun on Magmadroth is near like the chosen Rune Father on Magmadroth, it gets +1 damage or something crazy like that. So maybe this won't change, but my mind immediately went to it would change to add 1 to the damage characteristic with wholly within 12 of a Flesh Eater Quartz hero unit that took damage from a non-friendly ability or something like that, or like from an enemy ability, so that there's some interaction as opposed to you just hoping that your opponent doesn't proc one of these many ways of procking it and just because like even if they're not on the charge, you know, and again, let's throw Crypt Guard out the window and say it's Crypt Ghouls. That's still so many attacks at Ren 1 damage 2 or Ren 0. No, it would be Ren 1 because they still get
Ren
their
1. They get Ren 1 if they're within range of an aberrant or noble. So,
yeah, exactly.
So there'd be Ren 1 and then still 2 damage, and they're getting like there's more attacks because they're 2 attacks each, and you can have 40 duders. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's honestly, I think it's even scarier because it's the clan rat effect. They're auto wounding. You know what I mean? On 6s, maybe 5s if you get the right thing off.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it becomes pretty nutty.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah, but so those are kind of the honorable mentions, I think, of this book right now. There's, we mentioned the Ghoul King on Terror guys can slap extremely hard if you give him the right tools.
Yep.
Even if you don't, just with his rampage, like it's
just
it's pretty good.
With his rampage, he's +1 to hit, which is awesome. And then his delusion is +1 to the companion weapon attacks. So he's already he can kind of juice stuff up. That's what I was rocking. And then there's the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Zombie Dragon. Monstrous Hunger passive while they are within 12 inches of this unit. Friendly non-hero Flesh Eater Courts monsters can use charge abilities even if they run. So you can actually give Usharan run and charge as well because he's a friendly Flesh Eater Courts monster. They also got 2 extra wounds, I think. I mean, I don't know I don't know the index. Once the index hit, I was just like, ugh. And I just got disgusted and I went out of the room. And anyway, so they do have 16 wounds now on a 4-up. You can give them a 5-up ward with the right prayer and stuff like that. It's really fun. I really love that that the skeletal claws also got mortals. It's more reliable damage. The Archregent still has pick a friendly serfs or knights unit wholly within 12. Roll the dice on a 3-up. If it's a serf unit, return up to 3 models. And on a knights unit, you can return 1 slain model to it. So this is another way of getting more recursion. I don't know why the Archregent, they keep giving it to him, but I'll take it. And then something that's fun is High Falconer Felgrin. This isn't going to, this might not be a tournament thing as much, but the model's really cool. And he has this ability, you've got the little bat. It's called a gripe, which I love, by the way. And while this unit's gripe is next to an enemy unit, ward rolls cannot be made for damage points inflicted by Serf's unit or this unit, which who cares about this unit? Its attacks are, nothing to write home about. But you could put it down on a unit within 18 inches of him, and you could be teleporting around and whatnot, and then you just pop that down, and then you charge into a unit of serfs, and now all of a sudden they don't have a ward. And I feel like wards are pretty whatever, you know what I mean? It's something to look out for, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And cool. I don't know.
Real quick, just what you were talking about with the giving run and charge to Usharan. Apparently, so Fonzie and Braden in the chat are saying that it's a non-hero monster that you can give run and charge to.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I got ahead of myself. That's too bad. But again, it goes back to what I was saying at the start, how it's this, it feels like monsters, like the menagerie kind of style play of the old Gristlegore stuff is kind of coming back finally. And that's kind of cool because, a lot of people have a bunch of terror guys. Maybe someone in this room has a few too many FEC monsters, and you know what I mean? And now they don't even exist in Soul Like Gravelords. So it's okay, well, what do I do with these things? But yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I think you're going to see a lot of Cardinals too, just because the lore is so strong. You're going to want access to the prayer lore, maybe 2 different ways. So you put the charnel vestments on one character, and then you still take the aberrant cardinal to start charging stuff up. But yeah, honestly though, this book is, I think, my favorite book that's come out. It's filled with theme. It's not Age of Bookkeeping anymore. I don't know. The models are cool. You have access. I could see taking literally everything that exists in this book. And I'm seeing them in different lists, which is so fun. I don't know. I don't really have any notes, like other than like a few minor things where it's like, okay, guys, like, you know, you could be a little more clear here, like clean up the language a bit, or sometimes the way they phrase it stuff is, you know, but like it's very minor. Like I think this book is Chef's Kiss. I think it's the best book that they've made so far, overall.
Yeah, it's a really great book. I think it's like the perfect amount of like keeping the integrity of what the book was, and then also adding something a little bit new and thematic at the same time. So
it's
A+.
quite new though. Yeah, A+.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically no notes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We don't have a lot of time left, so we probably won't be getting to a star chart, but there is the Nighthaunt book. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
So according to the internet, Carson, I don't know if you've heard this, but the sky is falling. Nighthaunt, GW doesn't want you to buy Nighthaunt. They're trash. Okay? They're the worst thing that's ever happened to the faction, this book.
Okay.
I'm just
I couldn't disagree more, to be honest. This book this this book makes me interested in Nighthaunt.
God dang.
Playing them.
That's crazy. And you're like,
and it's
and
not
like you've always said you're like, the rules are like the most important thing to me, basically.
No, it's a combination for me. For
Fair
sure.
enough.
Like
But like
aesthetic
they
as well.
have to have good rules or you're out. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me to play them. Yeah.
Play-
like I might
yes.
buy and paint them if I think the models are incredible. But
Yeah.
rules is important to me for sure. And these are really, really cool. I like them a lot. I guess we can. So we talked about some of the stuff last week where basically like pretty much everything's going to like either a 5 or a 6 up save.
Yep.
And they ignore all negative modifiers to save, which means if they ever get positive modifiers to save, then hooray.
And you
But
can all
because the
defense
save is
them
so bad. Yeah, exactly. But because the save is so bad now, it's like it's not as big of a deal. Where it's not like the great divider that a 4-up ethereal was.
Exactly.
So they have the ethereal rule, which is ignore negative modifiers to save rules for friendly Nighthaunt units, excluding Nagash. Then we saw last week as well, they have the ethereal translocation, which is you pay a CP in your movement phase and you just teleport any Nighthaunt unit outside of 9 enemy units. Then you have mounting dread, which is subtract the current battle round number from the control scores of enemy units while they're in combat with friendly Nighthaunt units. And then you have your once per battle army deployment phase where this is just the dropping down more Nexus of Grief, essentially. So they're pretty light on battle traits. Like there's nothing super complicated going here. It's not like FEC that we just saw. It's pretty much just like no negative modifiers to save. You get a teleport, a cute control score thingy.
Yep.
And that's it. Right?
Yep.
We saw their battle formations change a little bit. So Quicksilver Geists. Did we also see this in the preview last week? Basically, this is like it's a quasi retreat and charge where you roll a dice. A unit that's using this ability can move a distance up to its move characteristic added to the roll. It can pass through other models and the combat ranges of enemy units, and it can end that move in combat. So it's like you kind of get a retreat and charge-esque thing, but you can like pin enemy units, so it's kind of better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's better than just a retreat and charge.
For sure.
And Deathstalkers changed as well, where
it's just a retreat and charge now.
Yeah, it's
and it
basically
looks
just
like
retreat
that
and
other
charge with
one.
no-
If the rumors are true, you have to pay, I think, 40 points for the movement shenanigans one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Deathstalkers is kind of like the downgraded version of that, essentially, where it's like, sure, you get retreat and charge or retreat and shoot or whatever. And you don't take mortal wounds, but you don't take mortal wounds from the vanish and reappear thing either. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So that one's just straight better, I think.
It is. It seems like there's so much more
yeah.
utility. I am disappointed though. Like, I don't think that there's any reason to ever come out of the gate with like 40 or 20 or 40 point formations, especially on something that's totally new as well. And they also put it on like, some of the artifacts and stuff like that. And they've so drastically changed this book that I think that was kind of dumb, to be honest. But we just don't have any data. So it's just like, why are we coming out of the gate with like something so unfun, in a brand new
I think
book?
it's because there is a direct, like, this is just a better retreat and charge.
Yeah, but like 40 points is kind of crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
You know?
I think
Also,
it's the first time they've done something like that too, where like here's the clearly better option, and you have to pay points for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't. It's a little weird. Yeah, that's fair. And then but they do have two more sub factions. One of them is Shrieker Host, which is once per turn, army wide in the enemy hero phase. Pick a friendly Nighthaunt hero to be the target. Enemy units cannot use retreat abilities while they're in combat with the target. That's really cool.
It's fun. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then Royal Procession, which I think we saw in the preview, which was pick up to 2 friendly Nighthaunt units to be the targets. And then they have anti-charge +1 red. And this is in the enemy hero phase as well. So there's, I think there's an argument to play 3 of the, or I guess there's an argument to play all of them, or any of them.
I agree.
Deathstalkers is like, if you don't have enough points for Quicksilver Geists, then sure.
That's what literally happened to Liam. He literally picked them. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Then Petrify is pretty cool if you have like a particular chunky hero, and you
Not
want
a
to use
lot
it
of
to
them.
pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Allander's the closest thing, and she's on a 5-up save with a 5-up ward, obviously, and 7 wounds, but she can only be hit and wounded on 5s, natural 5s and 6s, which is crazy. Like, that's so cool, but that's like the closest thing you have to like to a chunky hero is just she's just hard to kill because of how you do that, you know. But
yeah, exactly. And then Royal Procession is it's pretty interesting too. Like I think that this is actually kind of the line of play that interests me in the army the most.
Okay.
Where it's this like just really tough to crack tar pit army that like when you do finally get into it, there's just like so many things you have to deal with that it's the punchback is going to be really good. And I guess there's like some star units that we'll talk about later as to like why I think that is. But we can move on to the heroic traits.
Cool.
If we want to. Also, did you want to find a different image for when we're looking at this stuff?
Absolutely.
I can read out the heroic traits. So you have Ruler of the Spectral Host, which has changed. Now it is you pick up to 3 friendly non-hero Nighthaunt units wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the targets. Roll a d3 for each target on a 2-up. If the target is damaged, heal X the target, where X is the amount equal to the roll, or if it's not damaged, return a number of slain models to it with a combined health characteristic of up to X, where X is an amount equal to the roll. So basically, a whole bunch of the infantry has gone to 2 wounds each. And let's say you have like a bunch of Bladegeist Revenants that don't have any damage taken, but they've lost like 4 models or something. It's just like a D3 on a 2-up. You can bring back a Bladegeist Revenant for up to 3 different units. So it's a nice little bit of recursion instead of it being like, you directly bringing back an entire unit, which is what it used to, or half an entire unit, which is what it used to be.
I'm just going to grab water. I'll be right back.
Sure. Then you have Deathly Possessor, which is you pick an enemy hero in combat with this unit to be the target, pick another enemy unit within the target's combat range to be the victim, roll a dice on a 3-up, pick one of the target's melee weapons, immediately resolve that combat attacks for the target with that weapon against the victim. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of like resolving Usharan's spell in combat, any combat phase before any fights happen. So you have a chance to kind of like dampen the blow if your enemy charges into you, or if you charge into them, it's kind of just like an extra slap, which is kind of nice. And then the last one is just like if you declare the redeploy command for a friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit for the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from hit rolls that target this unit. So that one's okay. I think that you're probably looking at doing either Ruler of Spectral Hosts or Deathly Possessor.
And Ruler of Spectral Hosts is 20 points as well. But
okay.
But it is, or that's the rumor. And I actually hope that they're, it's wrong. But yeah, that's what Liam took. But I do like shadowy aura on like certain key heroes, like the Scriptor Mortis, hint, hint. He may or may not be in every list as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like that Shadowy Aura is a -1 to hit against this unit with a caveat. Like, there's plenty of other books that are just like, you just get -1 to hit.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't even... I kind of must have missed you declared a redeploy.
So you have to use the redeploy, which means it's only applicable in your opponent's turn.
What the hell?
And you have to redeploy.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's why I'm saying, like, Deathly Possessor is kind of cool because if your opponent has like a particularly slappy hero, then you can force them to slap something else, which is neat.
Right.
But to be honest, I think I'm gonna try and fit Ruler of Spectral Hosts as much as I can.
Every time. Yeah.
List.
Totally
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah. You can probably fit 20 points in, you know?
Probably.
Yeah.
And then artifacts to power. You've got the Brazier of Nagashazar, which is you declare the redeploy command. It's just a minimum redeploy of 4, essentially, wholly within 12. Then you've got the Light Shard of the Harvest Moon, which is a good game. Harvest Moon, if you haven't played it before.
Very good.
Light Shard of the Harvest Moon is if this unit is in combat, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Nighthaunt units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit for the rest of the turn. So it's just like the once per battle, more attacks again.
Right.
Which can be really good.
I like one of these though is Brazier and the other is Light Shard. You know, it's just very lowest common denominator.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the Mirror of Echoing Failures, which is what I look into every morning. It's a reaction. Your opponent declared a spell or prayer ability for a wizard or priest within 12 inches of this unit. Pick each enemy wizard and priest within 12 inches of this unit to be the targets. Roll a d3 on a 2-up. Subtract 1 from casting and chanting rolls for the targets, and then anytime they fail to cast or chant, inflict 1 mortal damage on the target. That one's a little weird.
Yeah.
I think the boring answer is honestly the Brazier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because we'll see why later in the book, but there's some interesting things that you can do with like making charges weirder or that sort of stuff. And then Light Shard is like an obvious answer if you want to go with an aggro build, like kind of what Nighthaunt has been doing up until this point in 4th edition. So I'm probably picking like Ruler of Spectral Host for heroic trait, and then I'm probably picking either the Brazier or Light Shard of the Harvest Moon otherwise.
You did pronounce that correct, right? Light Shard?
Light Shard,
okay,
that's right. Just a light one.
Yeah.
Then Spellor. Do you want to get into that?
I'm just reading out what's on the page, John. You do a star chart while I'm gone. Yes, Descriptor is definitely getting a slot now, at least for as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, what am I reading out? Spellor? Okay, Fell Blades. Pick a friendly Nighthaunt wizard, and then you pick a Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12. Until the start of your next turn, each time the target uses a fight ability, if all of its attacks targeted the same enemy unit. After that ability has been resolved, basically the next unit that attacks, you're an additional pip of rend. Yeah. And that goes off on a 6. We actually talked about it last week. And then Wrench Souls, and it's wrench as into wrench from them. It's not like you're ratcheting down some souls, just to be clear, in case you were wondering. It goes off on a 6. Visible, friendly, non-hero Nighthaunt infantry unit, wholly within 12. The target can immediately use the normal move or retreat ability as if it were your movement phase. This is pretty cool because, like, sorry, I heard a buzzing sound and I don't know where it came from. This is another access to like retreat and charge essentially because it's happening in your hero phase. It's more movement shenanigans.
Yet another reason not to take Death Stalkers for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like you could do it twice, is kind of,
that's true.
The other thing too is like you could retreat them or you could like move them out of combat. Even if you only have one unit, you can move them out and then you could also, or wait, is it? Oh yeah. Cause that would happen first. Never mind. I don't know. It's not as good.
Like, if your opponent's within within 19 inches of something of yours, you cast this spell, you normal move up, and you've got your Quicksilver Geist subfaction, then you just murderless tag them in combat, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is extremely powerful.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really, really good.
I like that.
And then Chains of Death, which is pick a friendly Nighthaunt wizard to cast the spell, pick a visible enemy hero within 18 inches of them, and then strike last for the rest of the turn. Making your hero strike last is I think you're probably focusing on Rent Souls most of the time.
Yeah, that's
more
true.
than anything else. And They don't have a prayer lore because they don't have priests, but they do have 3 manifestations. They all cast on a 6.
Right.
So we can probably go take a look at those at the bottom of the book real quick.
Why, certainly.
And then maybe the Nexus of Grief after that? Or should we do the Nexus of Grief first to kind of follow the same rule?
Sure.
Or same...
I like it.
So Nexus of Grief is Nighthaunt's terrain. They get 3 of them. Their big thing is that... so once per turn army in your movement phase, you can remove one of them from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield within 3 inches of a friendly Nighthaunt unit, more than 3 inches from all objectives and enemy units, and more than 12 inches from other friendly Nexuses of Grief. So basically, it's not the you immediately have to do it after a Nighthaunt unit moves like it used to be. Right. Now it's just any time in the movement phase you can just plop it down, essentially. Then its big thing is enemy units cannot use commands while they're within 3 inches of this terrain feature, so that's pretty big. That
was actually a big thing in our game because I piled into it like I had to get to this unit, and then I was like, oh, I can't all-out defense now, and I almost died because of it. So yeah.
And then its last one is once per turn army wide, pick a friendly Nexus of Grief, then pick up the 3 friendly Nighthaunt units wholly within 12. You cannot pick the same unit to be the target of this ability more than once per phase. For each target, if the target is damaged, heal D3. Otherwise, you do the same thing where you return a number of slain models with a combined health characteristic of up to D3. So there's a couple ways that you're getting, you're starting to recur models back, and it's a relatively chunky army, or it's a very chunky army wounds-wise. Mm-hmm. So this is pretty valuable. But yeah, very, very good piece of terrain.
I got him down to 1 Grimghast Reaper, and then he got back to 9, I think. And they have 2 wounds each. And I think it's another reason why you always try and take the heroic trait to bring guys back. So
yep, exactly. And I mean, there's other ways that you can recur to, Spirit Torment is going to be giving you more rally dice, which is really good. So you can be rallying on 9 dice.
That's
or is it 10 dice if you have a musician? I don't think there's any musicians.
I don't think there's any musicians. Maybe Hex Wraiths have one. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But either way, 9 dice on average. You're getting 4 Blade Geist back with that, and then Light Shard of the Harvest Moon. You're probably getting another one back. End of the turn, you're probably getting another one back.
Would you get 4 back quite a bit on average? Because there is 2 wins each.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 back on average.
Cool.
My bad.
Just making sure.
Not nearly as scary.
But you're bringing a whole one back on a 3-up roll, with the heroic trait, and then on a 3-up roll with the with that, and then there's rally in addition. But yeah, so the Shyish Reaper, this one's really cool, and Liam actually used this thing to great effect in our game. It goes off on, I think it was a 6, 7 wounds, 4-up save, and then it's got Almighty Reap, crit auto wound, 1 attack, but 3s and 2s rend to 4 damage, and then add 2 to the Almighty Reap if it charged in the same turn. And it's just kind of scary. This thing put a lot of wounds on my Terrorgeist because it charged in and it was getting 3 attacks, and then if you just, roll decently well, -2 rend is nothing to complain about. And then I was near the Nexus of Grief, so I was saving on 6s, with a 6-up ward, and so it was really scary and really cool. And then Vault of Souls, each time a model from a friendly enemy unit is slain within 12 inches, give this manifestation a soul point to a maximum of 6. If this unit if this end of any turn, if this manifestation has 6 soul points, pick a number of enemy units within 6 inches of this manifestation to be the target. Roll a 6 for each. Roll 6 dice for each target. For each 4-up, inflict 1 mortal damage, and then reset the manifestation's soul points to 0.
Yeah. So this is kind of it's kind of like a maelstrom that doesn't move, that only affects enemy units.
Yes.
And doesn't die when it does so.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is it's any end of any turn. The good thing is it's within 6 inches, so you don't have to be in target with it. in combat with it rather. So I don't know. I don't think this is the first thing you're pooping out if you pick in the Nighthaunt manifestations. Then there's the Mortalis Terminexus, which has traditionally been the best one. We'll see what you guys think here. Pick a visible friendly Nighthaunt unit within 3 inches of this manifestation. Roll a dice on a 2-up. Pick one of the following effects. Either add 1 to run and charge rolls for the target for the rest of the turn, or heal 3. Bah. The problem with this, though, is it's just heal. So it doesn't say bring back a number of blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. Because it's not like you have a lot of stuff with a lot of wounds in the army. I don't know. I don't think that the Nighthaunt one is great.
No, I don't think it's amazing. I think you can certainly get away with using a different manifestation lore.
Which makes me sad.
I don't know what else specifically synergizes extremely well with it.
Maybe like the what's it called? This thing.
Aetheroid. The Aetheroid machineries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Aetherod's just a really good.
It's good
toolbox anyway.
But it has a few other interactions because you're teleporting around the board. So I feel like the pendulum there is doing, it's a little more what you want it to be. So
yeah. One thing I forgot to bring up too was Hannah brought up a really good point in the chat, which is the Scourge of Gairan Soggy Black Coach or whatever. It just adds 3 successful rally dice, which if you combine that with the Spirit Torment,
that's crazy.
9 plus 3, or sorry, yeah.
6.
So on average, you're getting 4 or 5. So you actually are bringing back 4 on average.
Wow.
With those 2 combined,
because
that's pretty crazy.
But does it? I can't remember now. Does it make things that weren't successful, or it just adds 3 more dice to the total pool? That I can't remember. Yeah, you can heal Allender. She's only got 7 wounds, but yeah, absolutely.
It says each time that unit uses the rally command, you receive 3 additional rally points.
Okay.
So you just get 3 more successes.
Get 3 more
on top.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's really wild.
Yep.
Holy smokes. And then if they F off in the hero phase with your spell.
Yep.
And
rally,
you've got multiple casters, and Reichenor's still doing his thing, by the way. So he's still getting +1 to his wizard level and +1 to his casts.
I think Reikenor actually got better.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you mean because you can get the same thing on the 3-up?
No, I think so. It used to be. I'm pretty sure it used to be. Actually, I can check. I'll verify.
It used to be 1 mortal wound on an enemy unit within 12. Just gets him +1 to cast, and then if he does it to himself, he gets a power level in addition. Right?
Now it's the opposite. I think.
No, you always get +1 to your cast and power level, but you can do it on a 3-up into the enemy unit. So you have to roll a dice to do it into the enemy unit. Whereas before it was only if he took it on himself.
No. Oh, okay. So I'm looking at it now. It's
okay.
If you pick this unit, you allocate 1 damage to it and add 1 to casting. It just happens.
Yeah.
Then if you pick an enemy unit, roll a dice on a 3-up, inflict 1 mortal damage, and you get +1 to cast and +1 power level. So you only get +1 power level if you picked an enemy unit and rolled the 3-up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas
so never mind. It's not. Yeah. So it's not better then.
I think it's still better because you're always getting both.
You're not always getting both.
Well, if you don't,
you're only getting +1 to cast if you pick yourself. You get both if you pick an enemy unit and roll a 3-up.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's weird. I thought you got both. Here. Are you looking at the new one?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because it was always if he took his damage to himself. I see. If you pick this unit, allocate 1 damage point. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But either
interesting.
way, yeah, like just all of these things kind of like
Hmm.
picking up, like just kind of gets the gears turning in my brain, and I really like that you have this like weird movement shenanigans army with like pretty good recursion.
Yep.
That's like a bit of a tar pit. It's hard to deal
Absolutely.
with. Like it's just really weird, and like
Right.
it speaks to me thematically. That's like this is what a ghost army should feel like,
Totally.
right?
Yeah,
It's
they're
just like
nailing the thematic feel of these armies more and more because they're
yeah,
realizing that people actually do care about that as they
yeah,
should. Yeah, like
and it gives this army an identity that isn't just like we go fast and hit hard, and also
and we're
we have the
ethereal.
great divider. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the
it's
great
just
divider. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I like it quite a bit, and I think that there's a so everyone knows about the Scourge of Garan. Black Coach is really good, of course, but I think there's a couple key units to shout out in this book. I think the first one is probably going to be Quick, which is just Pyrogeist, because they're rumored to be 130 points and they've gone to 2 wounds each, so it's just like
Yeah.
wildly efficient. I think we saw Fonzie in the chat saying that
It was
everyone's going to
Fonzie.
be buying 9 boxes of them or something like that,
And
which is a little silly.
yeah, like don't do that because they're going to change. They're really rad models. So like you probably do want some of them because they have a shooting attack. There's not a lot of shooting obviously in this army, so I could totally see getting, a box or 2 of them. But
Yep.
and
Yeah, and I
then-
think we saw this. We've seen it run in the past before, like was it NashCon last year or something? But definitely at Worlds this year, Denmark brought a Pyrogeist spam list,
right.
and it had legs. Like it was really good. It was really interesting. But yeah, don't go out and buy 8 kits just because you think it's going to be the good net list, because by the time you finish painting them, they're not going to be.
Exactly. Even as
They're
fast
not
as you
gonna
can
be.
paint Nighthaunt, it's still
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
that's just purely like they shoot a bit, they have a cool effect, and they're just a ridiculous amount of wounds for the points. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
what were you gonna say?
Scriptor Mortis is something that is really interesting. 5 wounds, 5 up save, blah, blah, blah. But once per turn army, your hero phase, pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit. And there's so many ways of teleporting outside of their, or moving in the hero phase outside of their, like, just literally paying a CP and teleporting them in. And then you roll a 3 up, and if you roll a 3 up, they have the sentence keyword. And then each time a friendly Nighthaunt infantry unit, whoops, dang it, uses a fight ability, if all of its attacks target the same sentenced enemy unit, if that friendly unit's melee weapons have crit, or they have crit mortal, basically it gives them crit mortal on a sentenced enemy unit, and it's just like enemy unit, so it's not. There's no like there's a bunch of qualifiers. By the way, Liam, my son, just finished watching Death Note. And so he named his Scriptor Mortis light, from Death Note or whatever, because it's unclear whether Light's really the good guy or the bad guy, and he's calling it like his Death Note or whatever, and it was really funny, and like it was super good. It was super good. So
yeah, I think a lot of people complain that it's on a 3-up, but it's like it's a ridiculously powerful ability.
so powerful. What do you
Yeah.
mean? People are complaining about that. Like I've seen people complaining about everything about this book.
Anytime anything is on a dice roll,
Yeah.
I think people use that to be like, oh well, I roll terribly, so it's never going to happen.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
shut up. Like,
Yeah, just shut up. The whole
Yeah.
it's a dice game, for Christ's sake. Like some of this should be like,
and it's at the best possible time
yeah,
to figure it out. It's in your hero phase, so it's at the very start of your turn where you're just like, I'm going to structure my turn based on if I can absolutely dunk on this unit. Roll it.
exactly.
You roll a 2. Nope, I'm not going to do it. So now I'm going to change what I do. Like there's no movement, there's no attacking, shooting, there's no commitment involved whatsoever.
Yep,
It's just purely how does this affect my turn?
exactly.
That's it. So
Exactly.
it's an incredible. I don't know how many points he's supposed to be, but like
I
could see a lot of people taking him.
I want to say,
yeah, and that's his ability. He doesn't have
and
like
he's not a, like he's a general hero, so you can put stuff on
Yeah.
him too.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, I think he's a really good unit just as a buff piece. I could honestly see people not running him as well. Like you don't have to.
No,
I think there's a lot of other tools in this book to make it so that you don't have to, for sure.
I think he's really interesting though. Like I would definitely try and put him in, because like I'm thinking about running the Falconer named character, so I can't put anything cool on him, right? Can only take one. And then if they don't have any ward saves in their army, he's just useless. Like, he's just terrible. He's so dumb, right? So whereas this guy is just like, I get mortals. Like, I'm buffing my own guys. So like, mortals are always a good thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's sick. And he's a cool model too, by the way. So
yeah. Yeah, very cool model. So he's definitely a shout out. I mean, I think you can definitely rely on the old Nighthaunt units that people have been bringing anyway as well, like Reichner and Ulrach the Drowner. Both still going to be quite good. Sure. Lady Olander, I think you mentioned earlier, is just going to be like pretty tough to pick up.
How do you kill her? How do you kill her? Only hit and wound on natural 5s and 6s, and then she's got her ethereal save, which you could put back to a 4-up, and she's always got a 5-up ward. Like, she's going to be hard to kill, but she's going to be like 300 and something points or something, so not.
Yeah, but she's another source of recursion. So like once it's only, I guess this is only once per battle, but it's you can return a number of slain models with combined health characteristic of D3+3 for any number of friendly Nighthaunt units on the battlefield.
Yep.
And there's no like being in combat, anything, that sort of stuff that's a big deal. And then she also has her spell, which is you pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches and then ignore positive modifiers to the control score and to hit rolls, wound rolls, and save rolls for the target for the rest of the turn. So it's basically just like, no, like you don't get to do anything. Sorry.
Yeah.
So she's
a double caster. So yeah.
So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of her.
Yep, I think so. 300 points though. I think like I wonder if some people won't, like, they'll be like 5-up save now, 5-up ward. Like, it's too risky, 7 wounds. But it's just like, you need to get lucky. Like, I would not want to. I might throw like my Terrorgeist into her and just be like, well, I'm probably going to get a decent amount of mortal wounds when this thing's charged up. But like, you know, but like for most armies, you know, I don't know, man. Yeah.
I don't mind it because it's like, just like the Scriptor Mortis, like you don't have to take her.
No.
You know, it's just like a path that you can go down.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, you might not see her all over the place, but she might be. I could see her being popular as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, she's really good. The Scriptor Mortis is really good. I think we should probably focus on what's up.
Well, I was going to say, like, I wasn't sure if we were going down units that we thought were we wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
The Lord Vitriolic is really bad and stupid, and he's basically, his whole thing is just that ability that we looked at last week that's so random. What was it? Guardian of Souls is like on a roll now. Cruelgas Cruciator didn't really change. Lord Executioner is kind of interesting, although I'm not really sure that he changed. Pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice on a 2-up. Subtract from the attack's characteristic of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the turn. In addition, if the target is a hero, subtract 5 from the target's control score. And then pick an enemy infantry. End of any turn, pick an enemy infantry or cavalry hero that had any damage points allocated to this turn. This turn by this unit's attacks to be the target. Roll a dice. Add 1 if the target is sentenced, by the way. So another Scriptor Mortis kind of thing. And then on a 5-up, the target is automatically destroyed. Only works on a cavalry hero or an infantry hero, but like still, it's pretty fun and not bad. And like he's pretty good for his points. And then there was the Grimghast Reaper is like finally got like maybe they did change. I apologize in advance. Like I haven't been paying attention to some armies at all in 4th. But Grimghast Reapers now, they have like a combat phase ability. So you pick an enemy unit within combat with it and then roll a dice for equal to the number of models in the target unit. For each 6, inflict 1 mortal damage on the target. If the target has 20 or more models, inflict 1 mortal damage on the target for each 5-up instead. So if you're going into those ghouls, if you're going into those clan rats, Crypt Guard, whatever, and they've got the 20 models, you're doing all those mortals before anything even starts. And then They are 2 attacks each, anti-infantry for 2 rend, and crit auto wound. They're kind of cool.
Yep. Yeah, they're a pretty neat unit. The one other small thing that changed too is not on them, but one thing I noticed was the Guardian of Souls doesn't have to be in combat to give +1 to wound anymore. Now it's just you pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12, roll a dice on a 3-up, and then you add 1 to wound rolls for the rest of the turn.
It went
so you
back
can be a little
to
bit more
that,
standoffish. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another shout out that I want to do is the Bladegeist Revenants.
Yeah.
So they've changed quite a bit. They used to be like the thing that you juice up and send in, and has just like 1 billion attacks essentially. Yep. And you can still get them to have quite a few attacks. But the main thing that I really like about them is that they have this new Thrashing Desperation ability, which is while this unit contests an objective you control, enemy units cannot finish a charge move within half an inch of a model in this unit unless the unmodified charge roll was 7 or more. So that means even if your opponent is just like staring down the face of you and they have +7 to charge,
right?
You're like, I don't care. You show me a 7 on the dice. Like, like doesn't matter. Absolutely. Show me a 7. So that's really cool. And I also really like that this seems like a perfect unit to just like, wrap around a Nexus of Grief. Just to be like, you're going to have such a tough time getting into them. Right. And when you do finally get into them, you're going to be like no commands. Right. And it's just like a tar pit of, if you have a unit of 20 of them, that's 40 wounds. And if they all up defense, it's a ethereal 5-up and 5-up ward. Like that's just so much effective health.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be hitting you back like really, really hard.
Yeah, because they're hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s, which is kind of rare in the game right now, feels like.
And with crit auto wound, too.
With crit auto wound, exactly.
So that's going to be, 40 attacks or 40... Yeah, they don't have a champion. Just 40 attacks. But it's like, they're going to be handing someone a crap load of saves, and I'm not convinced that like a lot of hammers in the game would be capable of picking that unit up. Like, it's really rare to deal that much damage to a unit.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I don't think 10 Chosen could do it. Like, actually, let me do some calculations real quick. 10 Chosen with Mark of Corn. So they do like 14 mortals.
Yeah. Did you see what Ladificus said? Carson sounds like he's hyping himself into pushing Nighthaunt up his list of possible purchases. Yeah. I hope so.
So yeah, if you have a block of 10 Chosen running in and punching this unit that's like juiced up with +1 attack from Corn, after save and ward, they're only going to be doing 21 damage, which is half of the unit.
Jeez.
And then half of the unit gets to swing back, probably kills like, 3 Chosen or something like that. And then the Chosen with their double fight won't even kill them. And this unit is, I don't know what they're rumored to be, but still.
I can find it.
Points wise.
We don't know if it's real or not, obviously.
Yeah. But just like rumors is totally fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it really is a cool book.
They're rumored to be 210 points, so 420 points for. So I mean, it's a decently.
That is a big chunk.
Costly unit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough to move for sure.
And like you might just not get to charge them either.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
You're just
rolling a 7 is like what, a 56% chance or something like that.
Yeah.
And then with a reroll, like it's it's pretty likely, but it's not guaranteed by any means.
Not even close.
I've seen people fail rerollable 4s and 5s.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting. And
we've all rolled double 1s into double 1s. Like so yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's just a really cool army. It's got a lot of really cool movement shenanigans. It's really like tar pity. I see it as a counterpunch army as well, or like at least an army that dictates the cadence of the game, which I always really appreciate. So
yeah,
it's cool. I like it. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, they're awesome. And like, so my son was playing Nighthaunt. Or sorry, he was playing Soulblight Gravelords for this slow grow thing we've been doing over the summer, adding 250 points each week, and then we play on Saturdays usually. And you know, he was enjoying Soulblight, but Nighthaunt's always been his faction ever since they came out in second edition, and at first he was kind of like, oh man, like I'm losing the ethereal save, and I'm like, yeah, but you're getting double the wounds, you know. And so then he's like, oh, and then he started going through it, and you know, he's relatively new to the game, but he got more and more excited. And I said to him, you know, I think Soulblight is a much easier army to play than Nighthaunt. So like I was kind of saying, like, maybe you should stick with them because you're kind of, you know, like he was playing in second edition, but he was so young, you know, and so he didn't really know what was going on. So like this is his first time like learning the rules and like properly and kind of going from there. And we played the game, and at one point it was looking like I was going to just completely run away with it. And I was kind of going like, maybe Soulblight, maybe you should go back to Soulblight because they're so much easier to play and you really like skeletons and all this other stuff. And he's like, honestly though, this army is so interesting, and like the way it plays, it's like, you know, it's so great. So I actually took a picture of him. I was going to post it on the Discord, but then I was like, I don't know, you know. Anyway, but he's just like, you know, I was going to put like, you know, who's like who really likes ghosts and isn't worried about the new, you know, isn't like, and who actually likes the new Nighthaunt rules or something like that. I can't remember. I said it to him, and you know, I was a picture of him going, this guy, you know, or something like that. But he's really liking it, and I got to play against it, and they're, you know, I think like you could really like kind of show your tactical acumen with this army really well. I think FEC you can too. Like the rules are simpler for Nighthaunt, but the way you play them though is actually pretty deep, I think. And there's a very high skill ceiling with them. So yeah, I think they're awesome. I think my only complaint is that they didn't get like a monster. Like I think they need just one monster. Give them the Morngul or whatever. Make up something new. You know what I mean? Just give them some kind of cool centerpiece. But other than that, like, yeah, no notes. I think it's actually really cool. You know?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool book too. I haven't actually had a chance to look through the Armies Renown. I assume they're bad, but like,
yeah,
they might be interesting too.
Imagine if we said that about Korn. Like, I just assume that.
Yeah, I assume they're bad.
Yeah, I assume they're bad. Like, oh,
yeah.
What? Actually, that's so that like I don't want to forget because, but like, don't let me forget Armies of Renown, because I do want to, you know, finish talking about Nighthaunt. Very thematic, very cool. I don't really have any, like, I really don't have any notes though about the army. I actually think that they function in a really interesting way. I don't agree with the sort of online reaction that the sky is falling and that they're terrible now and GW hates them for some reason at all. I think that, you know, like that every time there's something new, people tend to overreact to it. But yeah, what do you think? Like, are you kind of Nighthaunt curious at all?
Yeah, they seem interesting to me. I mean, like at this point, it's very unlikely that I would get into like a full new army, just because
that's fair.
I've got other things to focus on. But it's one of those things where it's like if I found myself in a team setting, I would probably like throw my hat in the ring to be the person that plays an army like this.
Hell yeah.
If I wasn't better suited to any of the other options, but like, it's a neat book. It might even get me to like bust them out on TTS and see if I can make up a list, just to like see how it goes.
I hope you do that. I hope you just try them out. You know, because you could even like, you know, borrow models and stuff like that. We have, you know, we know quite a few people who play them. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Devin says in the chat, if the AORs are good, I'm coming after you, Carson. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I love that there's like a whole dialogue that went down too between Ludovicus and Sigmar Scotty Where Scotty's just like, Lodi, I think Carson will be ogres for life training. And then
Yeah.
everyone needs a side faction. He's like, I think he does have other armies, but and it just, like, keeps going, like, as if I'm not here. Like, is he gonna do it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of said and talked about it with you in the past. Like, you need more side armies, you know? Like,
I do. I'm just such a slow painter.
I am a very slow painter too. That's true.
You're not. You paint things pretty, compared to me, pretty quickly.
What was the last thing I finished?
I don't know. Something Skaven. I just remember
exactly,
that you.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Honestly, since I got like properly into jiu-jitsu, like I haven't been painting at all. You know.
Yeah,
I've been working on something which is starting to get, you know, through. I'm pretty excited about it, but like I haven't done the base at all. And like the base is like a major part of it. Yeah. So, but I'm trying to like figure out how to carve out more painting time. But okay. So we both think that both books are fantastic. I honestly don't know which one I like more. I think they're both extremely thematic, super interesting. And I could see either one of them being, I can see both of them being like pretty good as well, depending on points and, you know, a few FAQ things and stuff like that. But anyway, so in the comment section of did you see the comment section of last week's podcast? So a couple interesting things. So like, the first time we talked about the Khorne Army of Renown, people were getting on our case a little bit and saying, you know, they're fine and you should never ban an army and all this other stuff, right? But then in the comment section of last week's podcast, there we go. Some interesting things. So someone put, I won't, you know, blast them just in case, you know, whatever, but just some input about the Gore Chosen chat at the beginning. Warpfire's next GT in September has apparently outright banned Gore Chosen, which isn't super surprising considering their win rate and everything else. But also, and Army of Renown, or the Gore Chosen Army of Renown, and KO as a whole.
That's a little far, I think.
Seems like it, but
yeah, I think
it's interesting. So, like I'm hearing that KO though is
very good.
Very good. Yeah. Like
yeah.
Perhaps a little too good.
Yeah, KO is like KO has a lot of really good rules, but the problem is that they're just extremely efficient right now. It's
a points issue. I see. Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
So I think it's just something we have to live with until the fall battle scroll, essentially, which sucks. But I think they know that. Like
fair. Yeah.
And if I had to guess, I would say that there's an extremely strong reaction to shooting being dead.
Right.
And if GW was like cautious about releasing a completely dud new army, I think it's actually worse if they release a new army and it's completely terrible than if they release a new army and it's like overpowered.
Yeah.
Because then when it's over, they can dial it back and then it becomes normal again and then it's fine. But if it's a complete dud, it kills all motivation from the beginning. Yeah. And it's rare to see an army go from bad to okay and then people pick it up. It's usually like, I'm gonna play it anyway, even though now it's just okay.
Yeah.
If it's
I agree.
If it started off overpowered. But I think I was having a conversation with one of the Prince George guys, actually, David, on Facebook today, where we both kind of agreed that it's like banning an AOR is not the same as banning an army.
We talked about this too.
We did 100%.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Where it's like, if you ban an AOR, it's just like you can't use this niche rule set of this army, but you can use the whole book. Like you can use the rest of the book. It's fine. We're not preventing you from playing, because I think the worst case scenario is someone shows up to their first GT and that's their only army, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that I can't
play?
Use my only army.
Yeah,
I can't play.
Yeah,
That's That's horrible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's really good. I just think it's not right, I guess. Like with a hobby as like slow as ours,
Yeah.
you can't just expect people to pivot. It's not like Magic where you're just like, oh, well, this card's banned. I just have to make a new deck and then buy a bunch of new cards, and it's not a big deal. But in Warhammer, that's like someone's passion, probably, right?
Yep.
So just outright banning an army, I think I don't agree with. And
I
AOR is different, where it's just like GW almost like purposefully like cut off this tiny chunk to just be like, yeah, not that. You can't use that, essentially.
Yep.
Like,
and it's like there's no such thing, at least that I can think of, where it's like, okay, the Khorne Army of Renown is only heroes, like only mortal heroes or whatever, right? But it's not like you can't use that same war scroll in the main army. You know what I'm saying? So like you're not actually being cut out of anything except for possibly toxic rules. Right? And so yeah. And like even if they were to say like oh well KO don't get to use their new rules. You can use KO, you have to use the old rules. It's still just like, man, like what? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like this is my new rules. This is what I'm excited for. I'm from this area, wherever Warpfire is. I think it's Florida. I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It feels kind of bad. I like, and I said this before and I didn't really have any pushback. Cause like some people were saying like, you should never ban any part of a book, that comes out, and we've kind of settled on the same idea that like, Army of Renown is not the same, but like I kind of, just to like play the devil's advocate just slightly, I think that a TO's prerogative is to make the best, funnest tournament that they can. And so I don't think that there is, I actually don't think that there should be like some kind of rule of you can't ban an army, because, that person who's running it is just trying to make the best tournament possible. You know what I mean? And so I don't personally agree with banning KO, just to be clear. I don't think that that's the right way, as we've previously discussed, but I don't think that they're doing anything wrong either. I think that they're probably just trying to make the best tournament that they can. And people should and will ultimately vote with their wallets, on how that runs. And, like it might make his tournament more popular. Like if KO is super toxic in down there or wherever, there might be a bunch of people kind of going like, well, I don't want to go if KO is going to be there. And like, oh, you're banning KO? Oh, I'll show up then. You know what I mean? And like, I think like, I still think that there are way better ways of doing it. Like if like, let's just say for the sake of argument, KO is, I don't think this is true, but like, let's say for the sake of argument that they're so powerful that it is toxic, right? Usually the case is going to be, it's actually just like, a sub-faction formation, heroic trait or something like that. So you could even, if you really think that that's the best move, you could even just say, instead of going like that, well, you can't use this heroic trait or sub-faction or something like that. And then it would just change things enough where it's like, if the person's not trying to be toxic and they just love KO, well, they can just not use an artifact or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a better route. Again, I'm with everyone. You know what I mean? I definitely don't think you should be banning KO. But, just to play the devil's advocate, and keep an open mind, because like, I also don't think we should jump down anyone's throat over who's just trying to like run a tournament the best way that they know how. You know what I mean? Like, we need more TOs. Yeah. We don't need less. You know what I mean? Event turnout has gone down. It's not going up. We're noticing that kind of across the board. So
turnout is up. The overall
really?
Turnout is up. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I thought
what's down is the amount of large events. or rather like
Ah,
the
okay.
attendance of large events. So like these big
Yeah,
mega
that's what I.
events like LVO
Yeah.
and Adepticon and stuff like that are like there's less events like that, and those events it's looking like they're going down in attendance. But
Okay.
overall, there are more tournament players at more tournaments. It's just
Okay.
that there's more small tournaments happening.
I see. I see. Well, and
Yeah,
that's probably better. Um,
it
but
is
like,
better
regardless,
for the
I don't want to
yeah.
like. I don't think we should get pitchforks, and tar and feathering out. What you know what I mean? Like, we want more events. We want to keep that trend going. Then, if that's the case, yeah,
Yeah. And to be clear too, like I
yeah.
don't think I doubt I don't think that anyone would be talking about banning KO if the Gore Chosen thing wasn't already an issue. Like if it
That's
wasn't
what I
like
was
we're banning
wondering
Gore
too.
Chosen,
Yeah.
and while we're at it, we might as well ban this other because they're doing really well too. Like I don't think that would ever be a thought for
Yeah.
a lot of tournament organizers if Gore Chosen wasn't already kind of like empowering people to do it. And I'm a little worried that that's going to become a thing
I
because I
totally
actually
agree.
do agree with I disagree with like banning books. Again, I wouldn't jump down to TO's throat about it either. Like
Yeah.
for all we know, there's 25 people that cornered this TO and said if KO is going to be at this tournament, we're not signing up. Then of course you
Exactly.
would ban them. Like
Yeah. Yeah. You're
it's
not
just
insane.
what your community wants, right? That's totally fair. But I also don't think
I like the
KO
thought
is,
of 25 people cornering the guy from Warfire Minis and just being like,
come on.
hey,
Yeah.
hey, no, this is not happening. Not on my
Yeah.
watch.
But I don't actually like KO is very good right now. I will admit that. But I don't think that they are as bad as people are saying. And I think that the problem parts of the army can easily be fixed with points adjustments.
Fair.
Versus like there's sometimes they'll write a rule that's just like so fundamentally broken or so powerful that it's like, come on. But I don't think that exists in KO. I think KO have access to a really powerful tool set
Cool.
and really good war scrolls that are just a little too cheap. And that's it.
That's fair.
Like if KO has like one less unit, it's probably fine.
Right.
Still really good, but probably fine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I just agree. I don't know. Like, I was wondering about that too, though, because like we did see a lot of like wait for FAQs before. Very common kind of thing. And then before, when it was a wait for your FAQ situation, it was you're playing with the old rules, right? So why is that okay and banning isn't? Because that's
I think that there's a trust that's being built from Games Workshop's rules writers to the community,
okay.
which is essentially saying like they're saying, and you know there's a bunch of reasons why. Like they're just more involved in the tournaments. They're listening, and they have a survey that goes out to like all of the top players in the world now, where they're like rating each book that comes out, and they give them direct feedback from the people that are probably going to be most impactful on the metas. So that's a huge thing, and I think that based on that, there's a bit of a trust going around that's like, okay, we trust them not to make something so horrendously powerful that we can just use it right away. Whereas previously that maybe wasn't the case. But I think I'm starting to realize now that when we all decide to wait until an FAQ happens,
Yeah.
there's no data for them to make that FAQ with if no tournaments are adopting
Right.
the new rules.
And you
right?
brought that up last week as well, and I agree.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I've like finalized my opinion on that, basically being like, I think that that's probably correct. Is that until they consistently show us something that's just so bonkers broken every single time, we shouldn't go back to waiting for FAQs anymore. I think that we just kind of have to weather the storm. And if your tournament happens to be right after they release something ridiculously good before they can manage to FAQ it, sucks. But when the advent of there being, more smaller tournaments, the impact is lower, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's kind of interesting though that like the Edmonton Open didn't use the new rules though.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even use the new like the whole GHB, like it affected everyone, you know.
Yeah. I think it came out that weekend though, didn't it? Or was it the weekend before?
I wanted to say it was the weekend before.
That's pretty
Maybe.
standard to have like a 1 week rules cutoff.
No, I know, but
But it's stupid. It's their tournament. Yeah,
you realize that, yeah, they control when it comes
Yeah.
out. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
I think that's just a problem with the left hand not talking to the right hand.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. Sure you're right. It's still funny. Yeah. Sorry, my wife just messaged me. But yeah, like, okay, sorry. Q is probably around 60% win rate. The new one? Interesting.
New KO, yeah, it's like low 60s, I think. Like it's too good right now.
Right.
But it's not gore chosen good.
No,
like,
fair. Yeah.
And I don't think it's quite Nighthaunt right when the indexes came out good either.
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's that good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ludificus says Jordan is an exceptional fellow. I'm sure he has his reasons. Not saying I agree, but he wouldn't be doing it without a reason. Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, as they say, and you know, I just kind of assume the same thing. Like, I think it's better to just give people the benefit of the doubt, whenever you can. But yeah. Did that broken corn thing get fixed? No, it did not. Not yet. You know,
Sure didn't.
it sure didn't. But like, you know, there is something almost like, again, I don't agree, and it's going to come across like I do. But like, if people start banning stuff from like participating in tournaments, it might create more of an impetus for GW to kind of look at it more quickly as well. Because they probably don't like that either. It probably affects their bottom line to a certain extent of some kind.
I think it's a tool that the community has that it should use sparingly.
Very sparingly. Yeah. I agree.
Like, I think if we did this like once a year,
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
but this is kind of like one thing after another. Like, those books came out on the same day, KO and.
Again, I just don't agree with. I think that if the gore chosen didn't exist, we wouldn't be having the same conversation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like,
KO.
I'm totally with you. I'm actually saying the same thing you are. In that,
okay.
Yeah, like, so it's kind of like a point against it. It's like, man, these things came out together, and we're doing, like, there's one whole book being saying no to an army renown. Like, if even it was two armies of renown in two different books, again, it's just a totally different thing. Again, whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself a bit here too, but yeah, I just thought it was something interesting. I was just like, I was completely flabbergasted. I don't remember this ever happening, even when, like, you know, in times past, when like OBR and like Daughters of Cain were just like totally overcranked and just like a miserable play experience. People still weren't banning them, you know? So yeah. And with the power creep that happens, like, they're nothing compared to what we've got now, probably. But yeah. Anyway, next week we're going to be doing the Northern Wastes review show, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. And then next week, yeah,
Thursday. Yep.
Next Thursday we're going to be doing a battle report with our good friend John.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what factions are going to be there. We might be borrowing some armies or lending some armies.
Yeah.
But
is your son's Nighthaunt painted?
It is. I painted some of them. But
maybe I could try to play that.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I don't know if like the right things are painted. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I know the black coach is painted because I painted that myself. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk for sure.
And Lady Allender, I'm actually super proud of the way I painted her. And I did anyway. And is there anything else? Oh yeah, we are doing a list review show next week for Northern Wastes. And I think it was Scotty, it was you who messaged me, right? And he was like, he's like, what's the criteria for winning the best name, right? And I think what I basically said to him was, if you can make us laugh, that's, like if you want to win, that's the best way to try and win. And usually the cruder and dumber the joke will get you a higher score, essentially. So yeah,
I've got a special one cooked up already for next week. So
oh yeah, and you're not even like, and you're exempt from winning because you're one of the judges. So, yeah, like be sure to be there for that, guys. I think it's going to be really fun. And yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little bit of early book blues, but we're due for Battle Scroll in September. Early book for which book, Litivicus?
Gloomspite.
Oh, for Gloomspite? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm feeling that way too. For a couple armies. Actually, every army except for FEC. This is the first book where I'm like, God dang, this looks so fun. So definitely like a, multi-army prerogative kind of thing. But and Skaven's looking more fun. They're more interesting with the Scourge of Ghyran stuff. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you have a great week. Goodbye.